Did you get all of that?
Life has become more complex in the overwhelming sea of information. The advent of computers and the subsequent accumulation of incalculable data has given rise to a new system of memory and thought parallel to your own.
To monitor the situation means to watch history in the making.
5, 10, 15, 20 years away.
I think it's now. 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12.
But don't play games.
11.
Don't play games with this president.
9.
It's a scary idea, but I mean that's the world we live in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engine running. We have a liftoff.
Did you get all of that?
Life has become more complex in the overwhelming sea of information. The advent of computers and the subsequent accumulation of incalculable data has given rise to a new system of memory and thought parallel to your own.
To monitor the situation means to watch history in the making.
5, 10, 15, 20 years away.
I think it's now. 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12.
But don't play games.
11.
Don't play games with this president.
9.
It's a scary idea, but I mean that's the world we live in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engine running. We have a liftoff.
Did you get all of that?
Life has become more complex in the overwhelming sea of information. The advent of computers and the subsequent accumulation of incalculable data has given rise to a new system of memory and thought parallel to your own.
To monitor the situation means to watch history in the making.
5, 10, 15, 20 years away.
I think it's now. 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12.
But don't play games.
11.
Don't play games with this president.
9.
It's a scary idea, but I mean that's the world we live in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engine running. We have a liftoff.
Did you get all of that?
Life has become more complex in the overwhelming sea of information. The advent of computers and the subsequent accumulation of incalculable data has given rise to a new system of memory and thought parallel to your own.
To monitor the situation means to watch history in the making.
5, 10, 15, 20 years away.
I think it's now. 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12.
But don't play games.
11.
Don't play games with this president.
9.
It's a scary idea, but I mean that's the world we live in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engine running. We have a liftoff.
Did you get all of that?
Life has become more complex in the overwhelming sea of information. The advent of computers and the subsequent accumulation of incalculable data has given rise to a new system of memory and thought parallel to your own.
To monitor the situation means to watch history in the making.
5, 10, 15, 20 years away.
I think it's now. 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12.
But don't play games.
11.
Don't play games with this president.
9.
It's a scary idea, but I mean that's the world we live in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engine running. We have a liftoff.
Did you get all of that?
Life has become more complex in the overwhelming sea of information. The advent of computers and the subsequent accumulation of incalculable data has given rise to a new system of memory and thought parallel to your own.
To monitor the situation means to watch history in the making.
5, 10, 15, 20 years away.
I think it's now. 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12.
But don't play games.
11.
Don't play games with this president.
9.
It's a scary idea, but I mean that's the world we live in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engine running. We have a liftoff.
Did you get all of that?
Life has become more complex in the overwhelming sea of information. The advent of computers and the subsequent accumulation of incalculable data has given rise to a new system of memory and thought parallel to your own.
To monitor the situation means to watch history in the making.
5, 10, 15, 20 years away.
I think it's now. 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12.
But don't play games.
11.
Don't play games with this president.
9.
It's a scary idea, but I mean that's the world we live in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engine
Did you get all of that?
Life has become more complex in the overwhelming sea of information. The advent of computers and the subsequent accumulation of incalculable data has given rise to a new system of memory and thought parallel to your own.
To monitor the situation means to watch history in the making.
5, 10, 15, 20 years away.
I think it's now. I think we can achieve
Guidance is
AGI.
internal. 12.
Don't play games.
11.
Don't play games with this presidency.
9.
It's a scary idea, but I mean, that's the world we live in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engine running. We have a liftoff.
Did you get all of that?
Life has become more complex in the overwhelming sea of information. The advent of computers and the subsequent accumulation of incalculable data has given rise to a new system of memory and thought parallel to your own.
To monitor the situation means to watch history in the making.
5, 10, 15, 20 years away.
I think it's now. I
15
think we can
seconds.
achieve
Guidance is
AGI.
internal. 12.
Don't play games.
11.
Don't play games with this presidency.
9.
It's a scary idea, but I mean, that's the world we live in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engine running. We have a liftoff.
Did you get all of that?
Life has become more complex in the overwhelming sea of information. The advent of computers and the subsequent accumulation of incalculable data has given rise to a new system of memory and thought parallel to your own.
To monitor the situation means to watch history in the making.
5, 10, 15, 20 years away.
I think it's now. I
15
think we can
seconds.
achieve
Guidance is
AGI.
internal. 12.
Don't play games.
11.
Don't play games with this presidency.
9.
It's a scary idea, but I mean, that's the world we live in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engine running. We have a liftoff.
Did you get all of that?
Life has become more complex in the overwhelming sea of information. The advent of computers and the subsequent accumulation of incalculable data has given rise to a new system of memory and thought parallel to your own.
To monitor the situation means to watch history in the making.
5, 10, 15, 20 years away.
I think it's now. I
15
think we can
seconds.
achieve
Guidance is
AGI.
internal. 12.
Don't play games.
11.
Don't play games with this presidency.
9.
It's a scary idea, but I mean, that's the world we live in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engine running. We have a liftoff.
Did you get all of that?
Life has become more complex in the overwhelming sea of information. The advent of computers and the subsequent accumulation of incalculable data has given rise to a new system of memory and thought parallel to your own.
To monitor the situation means to watch history in the making.
5, 10, 15, 20 years away.
I think it's now. I
15
think we can
seconds.
achieve
Guidance is
AGI.
internal. 12.
Don't play games.
11.
Don't play games with this presidency.
9.
It's a scary idea, but I mean, that's the world we live in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engine running. We have a liftoff.
Did you get all of that?
Life has become more complex in the overwhelming sea of information. The advent of computers and the subsequent accumulation of incalculable data has given rise to a new system of memory and thought parallel to your own.
To monitor the situation means to watch history in the making.
5, 10, 15, 20 years away.
I think it's now. I
15
think we can
seconds.
achieve
Guidance is
AGI.
internal. 12.
Don't play games.
11.
Don't play games with this presidency.
9.
It's a scary idea, but I mean, that's the world we live in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engine running. We have a liftoff.
Did you get all of that?
Life has become more complex in the overwhelming sea of information. The advent of computers and the subsequent accumulation of incalculable data has given rise to a new system of memory and thought parallel to your own.
To monitor the situation means to watch history in the making.
5, 10, 15, 20 years away.
I think it's now. I
15
think we can
seconds.
achieve
Guidance is
AGI.
internal. 12.
Don't play games.
11.
Don't play games with this presidency.
9.
It's a scary idea, but I mean, that's the world we live in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engine
Did you get all of that?
Life has become more complex in the overwhelming sea of information. The advent of computers and the subsequent accumulation of incalculable data has given rise to a new system of memory and thought parallel to your own.
To monitor the situation means to watch history in the making.
5, 10, 15, 20 years away.
I think it's now.
15
I think we can
seconds.
achieve
Guidance
stage
is
9.
internal. 12.
But don't play games.
11,
Don't play games with this president. So
9.
It's a scary idea, but I mean, that's the world we live in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engine running. We have a liftoff.
Did you get all of that?
Life has become more complex in the overwhelming sea of information. The advent of computers and the subsequent accumulation of incalculable data has given rise to a new system of memory and thought parallel to your own.
To monitor the situation means to watch history in the making.
5, 10, 15, 20 years away.
I think it's now. I
15
think we can
seconds.
achieve
Guidance
stage
is
9.
internal. 12.
but don't play games.
11,
Don't play games with this president. So
9.
It's a scary idea, but I mean, that's the world we live in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engine running. We have a liftoff.
Did you get all of that?
Life has become more complex in the overwhelming sea of information. The advent of computers and the subsequent accumulation of incalculable data has given rise to a new system of memory and thought parallel to your own.
To monitor the situation means to watch history in the making.
5, 10, 15, 20 years away.
I think it's now.
We are back. We're live again after our 3-day weekend. I hope you all had fun not monitoring for 3 whole days, if you can believe
I
it.
don't know how you got through the weekend, honestly.
I know, right? It is Monday, June 22nd, 2026. This is throwing me back to my super history buff World War II days, because June 22nd is the day that Germany invaded the Soviet Union and started Operation Barbarossa in 1941. Anyway.
Right. What we're all thinking about today.
What we are all thinking about today. What we're thinking about is we have a special guest with us in the studio, IRL. We're here with Christian Kyle. He's a partner at Andreessen Horowitz on the American Dynamism team. Before that, he was a VP and an early employee at Astronis, which builds geostationary satellites. And my cousin is interning there. So shout out. And welcome, Christian Kyle.
Thank you. I've been sitting here the whole time.
This is true. We have this long table. He's on the end of it. You just wrote this really cool, very long article today called "How to Win a Space War."
That's right.
Yeah, I've never seen the cursor this small on an
know.
X article.
Oh, I know. Well,
It's
Great.
actually, it was gonna be 2 articles, and then I don't know. I just decided to merge it. It was too much.
yeah.
So for our audience, what is the thesis of this article?
I mean, yeah. So the basic thesis of the article is I don't know. The simplest way to put it is just that America is already at war in space. This is the first premise. If you don't agree with that premise, then we have to talk about it. Basically, Russia is already jamming commercial communication satellites. Russia has been, of course, jamming GPS on the front lines of the Ukraine conflict. China has been being very aggressive in orbit. Russia has been very aggressive or is currently surrounding this satellite that's a commercial satellite in space. So I think our adversaries are being very aggressive on orbit. That's premise number 1. And so if that's true, what should we do? Okay, sure, maybe we just pretend that doesn't exist. Maybe we can pretend that we can just all be friends on space, friends in orbit. But I think the more rational thing to do is try to figure out how do you win at war? How do you win a war in space? And so the article goes into 2 big halves. The first half is what can we build in space? What are the first principles of how orbit works? How we can, what can we build in space? And then the second half is what have we built in space? What have people actually put up there? What does that mean for how you fight a war?
So going back to premise 1, that we are already at war in space,
yeah, we can dive into that.
What does this war look like? Is there any part of it that's kinetic?
No, not yet. I mean,
That's
there's
so
it's very much like a Cold War.
We were promised Star Wars, and all we got was
yeah. Well, we don't want
communications.
Star Wars. We definitely don't want Star Wars. I'd say that we're at a Cold War in space today. So the simplest way to understand that is nobody wants it to go hot. Nobody wants to start shooting. As soon as you start shooting fragmentary debris, everything. Like it's very easy for things to get out of control very fast. So everybody is incentivized to keep it cold, not let it go hot. But people are towing that line. It's like actually kind of insane. Like a couple weeks ago, I tweeted about this. Russia launched 4 different satellites that are all going and surrounding basically this one Swedish satellite on orbit. It's a satellite that was used to basically provide imaging to the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense. And so that's why Russia's particularly homing in on this satellite. But it's crazy. They launched 4 classified satellites. They put them at the exact same location in orbit. So basically the same exact orbit as the satellite. They're within distance where if they wanted to do anything, they could ram it, they could jam it, they could observe what it's seeing, they could do anything they want to it. And that's just the most blatant example of aggression of okay, there's no benign reason that could happen. There's no way to explain that and say, yeah, they're just they just want to be in that particular spot. They actually sort of missed in their original orbit, so they were off by a little bit, and then did these crazy huge maneuvers to get exactly there, exactly where the one satellite is. So it's pretty crazy. I think that everybody is stepping up their aggression. They're getting closer to other people's satellites. They're jamming them more aggressively. They're more they're doing these cyber attacks. On literally the first day of the Ukrainian conflict, the first thing that Russia did was take down a commercial communication satellite, Viasat, a very famous cyber attack that immediately preceded their invasion of Ukraine. So it's just, it's a Cold War now. Nobody's shooting at each other. There's no Space Marines up there shooting guns or something. But it's getting to the point where it is no longer possible to deny that they're doing aggressive things on orbit.
Yeah. So I guess just sort of to illustrate for the audience, what are the sort of stated plans for Russia and China in space? What have they sort of scoped out?
Yeah, I mean, stated it's all peaceful, all scientific. This is very common though. In Antarctica, for instance, Russia and China, very benign. China doesn't want to overfish in Antarctica. They're just doing they just happen to be deploying these gigantic trawling ships out there just for to stay under their quota.
And there's
Russia is
an
doing
international treaty that's no war in space, right?
Yeah, of course. There's tons of multiple independent treaties that are peaceful use of outer space. So and they've signed those. They've signed the right treaties.
Right.
But whether they will actually abide by them is a totally different story. I think it is actually pretty analogous what's happening in Antarctica and what's happening in space. Russia, for instance, is doing seismographic research in Antarctica, which is just drilling to find oil. They're just straight up violating their treaty to not take the resources of the shared domain, which is Antarctica, and they're claiming it's for scientific purposes. Similarly, you have China on the South Pole of the Moon. China is launching missions to the South Pole of the Moon. Everybody's sort of racing there right now, but China seems like they might get there first. If they do, they'll effectively stake a territorial claim over the South Pole, which is where you have liquid water ice, or just water ice, but that could be turned into actual water for propulsion or for whatever else. And so I think that their stated policies are within the realm of okay, but in reality, their actions don't match.
Sure. By the way, this outer space treaty sounds like something straight out of Star Trek, retro sci-fi. It was a treaty in 1967 signed by 118 countries in London, Moscow, and DC at the same time, negotiated by the United Nations. And it's space is an area for free use and exploration by all and shall be the province of all mankind. This is the optimistic retro vision of the future in the mid 20th century.
Totally. And the organization that governs a lot of space today is the International Telecommunication Union, which is part of the UN. The ITU has basically the right to tell people what they can and can't use in terms of frequencies on orbit. So when you're talking, obviously every connection to space is wireless. You're not running a big cord up there. So in order to coordinate that, you have to make sure that you're not using the same frequencies as anybody else. China was very early to the party in realizing that if you controlled that agency, controlled that ITU, that therefore you controlled all the rules. You could dictate or at least heavily shape where those rules headed. And so China actually held the presidency of the ITU for a long time. They were the most recent president before the current one was Chinese. The next big meeting, they have every 4 years they have this big meeting where they kind of debate the rules. It's being held in China. The next one is in 2027. And then even more than that, Russia and China both have been doing this thing they call paper satellites, where if I get my satellite up there first, you can't come after me. And then like I have the right to use this spot, use these frequencies. But China and Russia realized you don't actually have to put a satellite up there. You can just file a piece of paper that says you put a satellite up there and then use that to basically enforce control over a particular part of orbit. So they were very early to the like lawfare part of orbital warfare, like space war. One of the big arguments that I make in the piece is that these sort of like Cold War gray zone tactics are really what people are doing these days, and what China's excelling at is that you never call that an act of war, like just owning a regulatory body and putting a bunch of resources into shaping space law. But in practice, they're like muscling their way to have control of really key orbits.
Right. So what beyond like telecom, like if telecom is what's mostly up there in space right now, it's mostly what's going to be targeted or, used in the Cold War. What beyond that could basically be affected?
So the main services that come from space today are things like comms, like as you mentioned. There's imaging satellites that are up there. So, for example, Planet Labs is this company that was kind of the darling of the most recent space wave, where people figured out you can do small satellites, you can launch a lot of them, that sort of thing. They take an image of everywhere on Earth every single day. Pretty remarkable, at like relatively good resolution. So imaging satellites are another one. Often those are used for military purposes, like something like 2/3 of their business is military. Right. So still sort of a military use case. But you have comms, you have imaging, you have a lot of missile warning stuff. So early in the space race, people realized that not only are launches really loud and really bright and whatever, or like they come from the dedicated spot, but they also are glow in the infrared. Like they're so hot that you can see them from space if you have an infrared sensor up there. So all the nations basically, like all the relevant space parties, have launched infrared sensing satellites that see when a ballistic missile has been fired. So, if that goes down, not great news. Like you really want people to be aware of whether people are launching intercontinental ballistic missiles. Like it's like a pretty good use of surveillance, I would say. And I mean, just one classic story on that, which is I will tell every chance I get an excuse to. At Y2K, so like, we're in the months leading up to Y2K, everybody's worried about the world like going to hell and all the computer systems failing and whatever. Like if you're a nuclear officer, that's a big deal. Like the systems for the nuclear weapons like are run on computers or whatever, and you don't want that computer to go down and accidentally like fire a nuke and cause a nuclear war, obviously. They were worried though, like no one's planning on doing that. The US wasn't planning, Russia wasn't planning, but what if there was some anomalous reading that happened as a result of Y2K? So the solution was the U.S. actually invited Russian nuclear officers to be inside of the U.S. missile silos during Y2K to watch and like look over the shoulder and be like, they're not firing their nukes. If we get some crazy reading, I'm here. I promise nothing happened. So like surveillance is a really good thing. Surveillance really helps and make sure that everybody's calibrated correctly and not like being irrational, especially in these like super high stakes things like ICBMs or nuclear weapons. So for infrared sensing satellites to go down would be a huge problem, massive problem. And then of course you have like the more sci-fi shit. You have like, lunar mining and you have orbital data centers and you have all the rest. But like the realistic thing, the things that are really up there today are just comms, imaging, military.
Okay.
So for the last like 80 years or so, since the end of World War II, there have been like no major great power conflicts. And part of the reason for this is nukes. Bigger part of the reason I think is like economic interdependence. So like France and Germany fought like many wars throughout the 19th and 20th centuries. And then after World War II, they were integrated together into the European Union. And now they don't fight wars because it would just make absolutely no economic sense. And same thing with the US and China. Like, yes, we are rivals, but we were tied very deeply together economically such that like World War III would be really costly for both countries. Do you think that there's some way to build economic incentives in space such that space war doesn't make sense?
Yes, definitely. I think that one trend that would lead against counter-indicate space war would be increased commercial activity in space. So, of course, the United States has tons of commercial activity in space. We are heavily incentivized to make sure that space is protected as a domain. A bit like maybe the biggest piece of the article, like the biggest thing that I'm most an adherent for is that we need to defend the domain as the United States. Like we need to make sure that our commercial interests, but just more like everything you can do in space is protected. So the fact that we have tons of commercial activity, good reason to do that. China has a fair bit of commercial activity in space. It's always like a little bit what's commercial and what's government with China. Like they have this policy of civil military fusion, which basically means that every civil asset could be just called into military service basically at any time. And in fact, that often happens. So debatable whether it's truly civil, but there's plenty of civil activity. A bunch of launchers, a bunch of people that are trying to build like the equivalent of some of the reusable rockets in the U.S. There's the and then they have their own sort of satellite constellations that rival the ones that we have for comms and that sort of thing. But then Russia doesn't really have that much. Like they never really got going. There's this remarkable stat that I found from the report that in 2015 we launched roughly, like the United States launched roughly a ton to orbit every day. And yeah, if you even it across the year, it's like roughly a ton every day, like 0.8 tons per day. China and Russia were both at 0.4. So like they were like roughly half of us, like them combined was a little bit less than the United States. If you fast forward to 2025, so 10 years later, China has like 5-ish X'd. The United States has 10X'd, and Russia has stayed exactly the same. So Russia kind of got left behind. They actually, like if you think about it from the logic you were saying earlier, like the economic deterrence logic, basically, like that's totally true with Russia. Russia, of the three major space powers, definitely has the least incentive to protect orbit as a domain. I call it in the article the like reset button. If anybody gets sufficiently far behind, they might want to just have nothing up there in space. We can all start over, and I think that's like super scary. You definitely want more people to put more. You want your enemies to put up, your adversaries to put up more stuff into space.
Yeah. So what would that stuff realistically be in the next few years? Like we talk about orbital data centers, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that like China's going to be thinking about that as well? Do you think that like we're going to go more full force into it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that people are really looking for what's the next big use case up there, whether it's orbital data centers or in-space manufacturing or just like some lunar-based stuff. Like there's plenty of, there's a lot of really cool things coming out of NASA, for instance. Like Jared Isaacman, incredible NASA administrator. Like I really, really hope that he like stays for as many administrations as possible. There's
huge fans.
There's some precedent for that. Like Dan Golden served as NASA administrator through 3 subsequent administrations, both times flipping parties. Like I forget if it was Democrat, Republican, Democrat, but it was like 1, 2, 3. So I hope that he stays. He's like an incredible administrator. He's doing a bunch of cool things, of big projects in space. From he wants to test out nuclear propulsion. Of course, they want to do the lunar base. Like there's a lot of very cool mega projects there. So I guess we'll see. Like I think that in the short term, plans are kind of baked. Like everything in space just takes so long that if something's going to be launched in 2 years, it already probably exists as a project or a funded program. So 2 years from now, I think you should expect to see a lot more launchers, like a lot more launchers coming out of China. They have something on the order of like 5 or 6 programs that are all attempting reusability, and all might conceivably prove reusability in the next year or so.
Yeah.
That's great. Like think about that. Like 6 new reusable launchers from China in the next year. Like that's actually completely possible.
That is pretty cool. Yeah.
What are the bottlenecks to reusability right now?
Oh, it's just so hard. It's so technically difficult. Like there's the bottleneck of launch sites. Like there's not that many places where you can land these things. China doesn't really care though.
Right?
What's up?
Blue Origin just did it for the first time after trying for what, 20 years?
Yeah, it was. So Blue finally did it, which was extremely exciting, and then like had a huge setback. They like blew up the launch pad, unfortunately, which is like a gigantic, and you saw something similar happen with Rocket Lab. Rocket Lab also just is trying to develop their reusable launcher. They've of course been launching Electron, which is their small launcher that they've launched a million times now. They launch really frequently, but they haven't reused it yet. And so they're trying to develop this new reusable rocket, and they also had a setback that pushed them from maybe sometime mid this year launching to probably the very end of this year or next year. So yeah, like in the US, those are the major efforts. In China, there's really not that many restrictions. Like they're cowboys over there. Like they're launching rockets over villages. They're like using these crazy hypergolic fuels that are like super poisonous and like really dangerous. And you see these rocket bodies literally just falling on villages and exploding in these poisonous orange clouds of smoke. Like it's really not great. But the flip side of that is that they are hell-bent on getting that capacity for themselves. And there's no single technical reason that it's really hard. It's just like the integration of this gigantic system that has to be thermally right and electrically right and has to have the right guidance. And like there's so many things that are hard about it.
Sure.
Well, if orbital data centers are more of like a permitting related thing, like why would China invest that much into them? You know, they have like a whole Taklamakan desert with lots of solar and empty land that they could build infinite data centers and solar panels on, and there's no NIMBYs to stop them. I mean, they can try, but it's not going to work.
It's true. Yeah, I think the like that's like a pretty argument for why you wouldn't. It's so much harder to go to space. Like if you could not go to space, you should not go to space. Like for these applications, like a lot of the space stuff just has to be up there. Obviously, like you need a system that will be around the entire Earth. So you want a global system, you have to go to space. But if you can, like just put it in the middle of a desert or something, rather than up where there's no air to cool everything down.
Yeah. So how does nuclear work in space? Like, are there regulations against it? I know, obviously, you know, nuclear weapons are by treaty not permitted.
Yeah.
But what about nuclear in general? And what are risks, if any?
I don't know if nuclear energy is permissible, like is allowed under the treaties or not. I would presume, no. I don't actually know. I don't know on the energy side, but the designs are super cool. Like we had this advisor at Astronis when I was there, who's like the world's expert at nuclear propulsion. And there's a bunch of different types of it. There's like different ways that you can use the reactor to either like heat up something and like eject the mass behind you, or there's like a bunch of different designs. But he was just like the world's expert at that, and he came and gave a talk to us actually at Astronis about like next gen nuclear propulsion. It was like the sickest lunch meeting I've ever had.
That's so awesome.
It's super cool. So there's a lot of like really interesting research. I think that the interesting thing about the NASA announcement is that they've sort of like started to direct people towards a specific type of propulsion, type of nuclear propulsion. So you should expect that there's gonna be a lot of research and a lot of money thrown at that. And I'm very bullish on like future advanced propulsion, because at the end of the day, like a big thing that I read about in the report is like, who's going to win on orbit? It's whoever can really move without regret. That's the Space Force's word, maneuver without regret. If you have to like be very careful in consuming your propellant, preserving your fuel, you just like can't do a lot. You can't move around, you can't shift things, you can't mass things in one place. There's a lot of reasons it's really limiting to the current way that we operate in space, where fuel is so precious. So what you want is a better form of propulsion that can move you around whenever, wherever you want. You don't even have to think about it, you just go. So I'm very excited. There's a lot of entrepreneurs that are working on this too. A lot of people that are working on cool new propellant or cool new propulsion concepts for space, and they're all so sick. There's a lot of really cool ones.
Claude says nuclear power is allowed in space.
There you go.
So that's cool.
Oh yeah.
Obviously not nuclear weapons.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Put those down.
That's like you tell it to Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there was a report that Russia really wants to put a nuclear weapon in space, which would be extremely bad.
So on
It's also not allowed, but you know.
Well,
Russia,
not
that's against
allowed.
the
Who's gonna
rules.
stop
Why are
them?
you doing
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
Do you think the Russian space program is at this point overrated or underrated?
Probably overrated. Like I imagine people watch these like, you know, various expanse sci-fi-ish shows and they're like, oh yeah, the rival to the United States is Russia. So I would imagine the popular opinion is that it's somewhere on the order of Russia or China or the US. Like they're all kind of equivalent. Russia's way behind US and China, way behind. Like they just don't have the right launch capacity. They only have a few rockets. None of them are reusable. They haven't really developed that many satellites up there. Like they have their own, to their credit, they have their own GPS constellation, their GPS equivalent. They have their own like missile warning satellites, I believe. They do not have a space, like they're with us on the space station. Like once the space station shuts down, which is going to soon, RIP, then they're gonna have to develop their own, and they're talking about that. But it's way far behind. It's like an order of magnitude behind China, and then China is roughly an order of magnitude behind the US.
How did that happen? Like Russia used to be, you know, not dominant in space, but like definitely like, you know, up there with the US. There was a time in like the 2010s, if I remember, before Crew Dragon, where like all US crewed launches had to use Soyuz rockets.
That was a bad time.
Yeah.
So like the answer to the first question is like, it was when the USSR fell. Like when the USSR is dissolved, they actually stranded an astronaut up there.
Wow.
So there was a guy who launched as a Soviet Russian, and the USSR dissolved while he's in space. And they like sort of forget about him. they just left him up there for a while, and like they eventually got him back down. But it was like when he came down, he was a Russian, not like a Soviet, which is hilarious. They, in theory, maybe they could have brought him down. There was a big debate about it, but yeah, they call him the last Soviet citizen.
That's so funny.
Oh wow. He had his happy ending.
What is his name? Like Yuri something or other.
Sergei Krikalev.
Sergei.
He was in space for 311 days.
Oh God.
He has spent a total of 803 days in space, which means he's number 4 on the list of people with the most. And then he retired, and now he's a deputy director general, working on human spaceflight at Roscosmos.
Yeah, the ending is happy, but it was not. It was pretty dicey for a little bit up there. But anyway, yeah, so that was really when the program tanked. Like if you look at the graph of like, you know, how many rockets are launched per year or mass per year, like any of those relevant numbers, it's like they had a big boom and they were really rivaling the U.S. But I think as a result of their lack of testing, which is interesting, we could talk about if you're interested.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Russia, like, so the U.S. invested very heavily in rocket testing, not just like making launch pads, not just making rockets, but making like places you can test rocket engines. And so we actually got a few like shots on goal or like tests before we did the big ass Saturn V launch to the moon. Russia did not. Russia actually did not invest in test as much as we did. And so they kind of like YOLO'd it and went for it and tried to go to the moon and like obviously never got there.
Sure.
So that was like they were rivaling us. Like they were ahead of us for a while. They launched Sputnik, they launched the first dog, they launched the first person, like all those sorts of things. But then we got to the moon first and they collapsed, and then that was sort of the end of the Russian program for a while. They stagnated for a long time after that.
Yeah. So what, in your view, is like the solution to getting, you know, more like rockets to space from the U.S. perspective? Like, is it a combination of like private and public, or like what is the split that you see?
Yeah, I think it's like, well, at this point we've fully shipped the private. It's all going to be private. Like,
right.
You know, Russia, the NASA is not going to develop their own rocket at this point. I think like the heavy launch industry is really interesting. You have a new rocket that is being built by a party that is really exciting because it could do 100 tons to orbit in a single launch. And that is a way to get a lot more mass up there. So you just have bigger rockets that are launching more frequently that are being reused. So I would love to see that. I want to see like 10 more rocket companies though. Like we have the big one. We have Rocket Lab. We have, and those are the two that are kind of launching the most frequently.
Yeah.
You have Blue Origin that's figuring their stuff out. You have Relativity that's still kicking and like going to do some more launch tests soon. You have Stoke Space, which is a really interesting upcomer. You have Cowboy Space, which is the recently rebranded Aetherflux, run by Baiju. He's a homie. He's gonna do it. Like, let's go. And there's a lot of people that are developing new rockets, but I want to see like more. We need more. I think that what you see out of China is there's just a ton of different shots on goal from a ton of different parties, and the demand for launch is effectively insatiable. Like you get capacity to orbit, and people are gonna use it. Like that was the major lesson of SpaceX. When SpaceX was getting started, it's like, okay, who's gonna use this? Damn it! Sorry, it's so hard. It's like so hard. This is the lesson from like the end of the shuttle program, is that when NASA decided to decommission the space shuttle and go to commercial launchers instead of the Space Shuttle 2 or something, the big question was like, is there enough of a commercial industry to justify this, to actually allow there to be this commercially developed rocket? And the answer was absolutely yes. As soon as you have a commercially developed rocket, all of a sudden there's a million things we can do with it. We can launch our own communications constellation. We can do some military satellites. We can do new in-space manufacturing where we bring stuff down. Like there was a recent announcement about that for another company. So I think that once you build the launch capacity, you have the ability to do stuff with it. And I just think we need 10,000 times more launch capacity.
Sure, but how can like small companies even enter this market?
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's very hard, but it's easier than it was. So it used to be the case that it took billions of dollars of development of maybe even more than that. Like it took nation state levels of resources in order to build a rocket in the first place. Like of course in the space race, you have only two nations in the entire world that can possibly do it. Then fast forward a little while, you have commercial companies that are building their own rockets, and it doesn't take hundreds of billions of dollars. Maybe it takes like single-digit billions or like low tens of billions of dollars to do this, and that's only after 20 years later or 40-ish years later. So now here we are, like 20 more years into the space industry, and like how many billions of dollars does it take? It's like it's not 100 billion anymore. It's not like maybe it's not even 10 billion anymore. Especially now that we've sort of figured it out. Like we know the answer. The answer is like full flow stage combustion, methalox. The people that built the first reusable rockets have figured this out for us basically. So in theory, you could speed run it, which is a lot of the the argument that's being made by these other like follow-on launchers.
Yeah. And so I guess shifting into more sci-fi territory,
Yeah.
we've talked about like the economics of obviously why launch makes so much sense, orbit makes sense. What about the moon? Like when we get to the moon, what are the commercial applications and what are like the things that make economic sense?
Yeah. So there's one argument which is that who cares? Like the argument's
Let's
like,
just do
let's
it.
fucking go. Let's go to the moon.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's like actually it's totally fair. It's like
yeah.
we should just explore. We should just do cool shit. So that's the first argument. The second argument though is that once you have a lunar outpost, it is so much easier to get into orbit from the moon than it is from Earth. So much easier. Like it's almost impossible to get into orbit from Earth. We're right on the verge. There's a quote in the article. It's like I forget the exact number, but if the Earth was 1.6 times bigger, it would be literally impossible to get off of Earth and into orbit with like normal rocket technology as we have it.
Sure.
But from the moon's much smaller, much easier to escape from. Like it's a much easier hub to build stuff and launch stuff and get a lot more things into space. And so what that would have to look like is still pretty sci-fi. It's like we have lunar outposts that are not only launching things into space, like the big like whatever rail guns or mass accelerator or like accelerator things, but also we're building stuff to launch on the moon. Whether that's we are mining the ice and we're packaging that up and shipping it off into space so people can use it as propulsion, or if we have like there's plenty of rock on the moon, like we can build stuff from that. That's so far down the path of sci-fi that seems crazy, but like eventually we'll be building stuff on the moon. And so that's like it's an outpost. It's like a halfway across the ocean. There's the classic quote is like, if you're in orbit, you're halfway anywhere. It takes as much propellant to get off of the Earth as it does to get from Earth orbit to Mars. It's like you can go anywhere once you are outside of the Earth's very deep gravity well. So that's why the moon matters.
Sure, but like whatever you would send from the moon to Mars, you have to get it to the moon first from Earth, right?
Unless you make it on the moon. That was the point. So like if you have the ice already on the moon, you can just have that there. Or if you have whatever regolith that you're building stuff out of, then that's already on the moon. So like, yeah, granted, that's like pretty far off. That we're actually turning that into chips or something. We're not going to build our first fab on the moon for a while, but someday we'll build stuff.
What do you think would be easiest to build on the moon, entirely on the moon?
It would just be the water. So like, ice and water are actually really good propellants. Like propellant fundamentally for space is like you take a thing and you throw it behind you and then you go the other way. Like so the classic analogy in all the textbooks is like you're sitting in a wheelbarrow and it's full of rocks and you just pick up a rock and throw it and then that like pushes you back by like conservation momentum. So that's like what propulsion is. Water is great at that because water is super heavy. Like you throw water out the back and that's like very, and you can also ionize water. You can split it into hydrogen and oxygen and then you can use those in like some more other like crazier ways to accelerate you, just like ion propulsion. And so water is a great propellant. They have a ton of water on the moon. Like that's the basic. That's the most immediately obvious thing that we want to do on the moon.
What do you think about antimatter propulsion?
I love it.
Yeah, I've heard about this.
It's pretty far out there too. Like it's something absurd. Like it's produced for like trillions of dollars per like teeny tiny amount. I don't remember the exact number. It's like very far out there though. It's still very sci-fi, but we know how to make antimatter.
Yeah, I don't know the cost number, but I do know that like the sum total of like all the antimatter that has ever been produced is like 20 nanograms.
Yeah.
It's not a lot. The group chat this weekend was talking about how like one existential risk that people aren't thinking of is people trying to make antimatter propulsion and then messing up and it just like blows up the Earth.
Yeah. And I mean, we always worry about this. Whenever we make anything new, we thought that the nuclear weapons would light the atmosphere on fire. Now we think maybe we're going to accidentally create a black hole or something. That'd be bad.
That wouldn't be so bad. We wouldn't even know that it happened.
That's true. I think you actually I think you fall at normal gravity though. Like if you're falling into a black hole, you don't fall at like super fast, like warp speed, like pinch. You fall at normal gravity. So you'd know.
Yeah, you'd get like slowly spaghettified.
We just all kind of like slowly start sinking into the Earth and then be like, what's happening?
This is the real singularity.
We'd be live on stream while we did it.
This is the real singularity.
Yeah.
So true. Yeah. Another question that I just like am curious about is like, is the International Space Station like as up to date as it can be? Like, do we have?
Oh no, it's so old now.
it's pretty old. It's been like continuously updated though, or like
it was launched,
people have been working on it.
The first part was launched in 1998.
Yeah, it's old. So it's like old. It's leaking. There's like they actually just had this incident where basically like everybody had to retreat back to their like escape pods basically because they found a leak and like not good. And that's not like super new. There's been like little cracks and things that they've known about for a long time, but they just keep patching them up with like duct tape, effectively. So the space station is old. They're going to decommission it, which is like the saddest thing ever. I think that I would much rather see them boost it up into a higher orbit.
Right.
Like maybe like take off the solar arrays, let those, because they're huge. They like are, very easy to hit with micrometeoroids. Same with the radiators. Like just kind of strip the thing down so it's just the core pods or whatever, and then boost those pods up. Like put them up into a place where there's less debris, where it's like it'll stay up there effectively indefinitely. I just think that like if you go 100 years in the future, when it's super easy to launch, when like we have a ton of stuff that's happening in space, etc., we're gonna wish that we had kept this relic of like the first space age and like our first little thing. Like how cool! Like people go to museums to visit the first boats or whatever. These crazy preserved Viking boats that have just been like underground for whatever. Like people go to museums to see that. I would go to space to see the ISS and just like fly by it and check it out. Like that'd be so cool.
Space NIMBYism.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you deorbit the ISS without destroying it?
No.
Sad.
You could, so in theory, you could go up there with a sufficiently big spacecraft, kind of like alligator it, like put it within a fairing, and then bring the fairing back. That
not sounds
impossible.
expensive.
It's probably very expensive. But no, as soon as you
That'd be sick though. I'd go to the ISS museum.
Yeah, that would be so cool.
The
first
first
orbital
build a
museum.
replica. It would be cheaper.
It's so sad, but they're gonna deorbit it, and I've come to terms with this. And it's gonna burn up in the atmosphere, and it's gonna be so sick when it does. It's gonna be this gigantic flaming fireball in the sky. I think that there's a rumor that there's a gigantic like tungsten cube or something on the ISS that would not burn up, which I want to know about. Is it tungsten?
Interesting.
I forget what. It's a gigantic, extremely heavy cube that they've used for science experiments. Because of course it's like there's like it's a zero gravity environment, and so they used it. It's like up there you can move it around because it's zero gravity. Are you finding it?
I'm looking up giant cube.
Giant
on the
cube
ISS.
ISS, big hunk of metal ISS. Like there's I don't know. Anyways,
I'm seeing yeah.
I think that it may be a rumor, but anyways, there's I think it'd be funny because that we could survive re-entry. Big hunk of metal.
I saw this article from 2024. Like a piece of metal from the ISS fell off of it and then landed on some dude's house in Naples, Florida.
Yeah, unfortunate that probably not from the ISS, but that would have to go a really long way. But there are definitely like the classic. Oh, dang, I can't tell that story because of the party involved. But there's a story about a rocket that when it was first being demoed, it like had a failure pretty early on. But then a lot of the parts just sort of like scattered across this island, and so there's one like sitting. There's like a piece of a rocket engine just like sitting on a shed, like kind of collapsed to the top of the shed, and they go in and they like get it. It's so funny.
That is pretty funny.
Yeah, well, I think that we're past time, so I think we'll wrap here.
Yeah.
But this was so great having you on, Christian.
It has
thanks
been
for having me.
awesome.
Really
We love
appreciate it.
space. This is like our second favorite topic.
Yeah.
after
Other
AI.
than China.
Well, it's relevant to both. Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Chris.
Thanks so
Yeah,
much.
of course.
This
See
is
ya.
great.
We'll be right back. we are back. We are live. Good interview with Christian Kyle. What should we go into first?
Probably Google invest in A24.
Probably Neon. Scale your startup on Neon, the Postgres backend for apps and agents built by Databricks. Neon.com/MTS.
Or that.
Or that.
Yes.
Let's take a look at Google investing in A24. Exclusive. Google is investing. I love how they call it the Backrooms Studio A24.
Yeah.
Google is putting $75 million into the film company as part of an AI research
He is
partnership.
only 20 years old. Referring to Google.
Yeah.
Google is more than 20 years old, right?
Google's like 27, 28.
Google, how old?
A24, by the way, I did not know they did all of these movies. They did a lot of them. Ex Machina, Room, Moonlight, Lady Bird,
Ex Machina is like
Uncut Gems.
top 5 movie of all time for me.
I haven't watched it. Maybe I
Bro.
should. Everything
Bro.
Everywhere All at Once, The Brutalist, Civil War, Marty Supreme, Backroom. Of all of these, I've only seen Lady Bird, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Marty Supreme, and that's it. But I know a lot of these are popular. And they also did TV shows. So they did Euphoria, which I've seen, Has Been Hotel.
Has Been Hotel blew my mind. I
Oh
was
my
not
God.
aware of, like...
I
affiliate.
had no idea that A24 did Has Been Hotel. Has Been Hotel, in case you're unaware, it has like a reputation for being like a cringe like Discord mod show that Discord people watch.
It's like an animated musical about hell,
yeah,
right?
But it's like the like Reddit version of hell, where hell is actually awesome and like.
Wait, I think
it's so extremely Reddit. It's kind of like the Amazing Digital Circus.
Like, it's just that unfortunately a few things like gain a certain fan base that makes it extremely, extremely cringe and kind of repugnant as like a show or whatever. But like, I feel like maybe
Steven
Undertale
Universe.
was kind of like this
Undertale is
for a
completely
bit.
like this. By the way, Deltarune comes out on Wednesday. Deltarune Chapter 5.
Yeah. But I actually think that like Undertale was like a really innovative video game and it was like a great time to play. But this fan base like just like made it super cringe.
Oh, Ex Machina wasn't produced by A24. It was distributed by them in the US.
Yeah.
Holy LARP. Anyway, what is this partnership about? By the way, Google stock is way down today. We're going to talk about that too in a bit. Google is a major player in online entertainment through YouTube. That's true. It's the first time it's taken a stake in a studio. They're working with DeepMind to help them with movie production because now like movies are just like fully AI generated movies are actually getting kind of good. Like we talked to the what was his name from Runway AI?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Wow, I show speed is IRL streaming World Cup games. That's crazy. Anyway, the
Cristobal
Cristobal, yeah.
Valenzuela.
Cristobal
Yes.
Valenzuela,
Go.
yes. If you look up like fully generated like Runway ML short films, they look like solid. Like it's not as good as like a real Pixar movie, but it's like very, very close.
Yeah. So
And-
I think that a lot of like the actual bottleneck is like refining it, storyboarding. Storyboarding, I think, still remains a huge problem. There's obviously frames in between you have to animate, but you can get really, really far.
I mean, look at this. It's just
Yeah.
great. Coraline. This is kind of sloppy. But the Pixar one was great. And actually, this isn't that sloppy. This is pretty good. And remember, like these models are not going to stop getting
But
better.
some things I think about all the time is like
Backrooms
prior
director
to
Kane Parsons.
he's only 20
11
years old, by the way.
He's only 8 years old.
Something I think about often is just like how anime is infinitely more like AI animatable than like, you know, like a feature length movie or whatever. I feel like anime is just so much
I
simpler for
know.
algorithms.
I keep getting these AI generated like anime like soccer reels, and they look really good. Like they would not have looked really good a while ago. It's like yeah, AI generated football anime, Messi, Ronaldo. I'm just like spamming keywords into YouTube and seeing if I can find it. I can't find it. Oh my god.
Alas.
There's just so much garbage on YouTube Shorts. Anyway, just trust me. It's good. It's very good.
Yeah, your curated garbage is ready.
Yeah.
I have never gotten those reels in my life.
I'm curious what your reels look like. Is it like
It's peak.
Is it peak?
Don't worry about the content. It's just peak.
Is it
I
peak-
send you some
peak slop?
sometimes. It's peak slop.
This reminds me, I was talking to some friends about the movie Obsession over the weekend, and they described it as peak slop. I'm not even sure what that movie even means, or what that word even means. I asked her, and she said, "Oh, it means peak, but also slop." Like what?
Wait, this makes so much sense.
This is pure schizophrenia.
No, this makes actually so much sense.
Whoa.
It's like
A24.
something that you actually have like an extremely fun time engaging with, but is objectively slop. That's how I would define peak slop.
I see. That does make sense, actually. But I thought it was more than that. Anyway, did you know this?
I know
A24 raised
everything.
funds from Thrive.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So another thing about the Google A24 partnership is that, like, I saw a line in here that says, while A24 will have access to DeepMind's data, the multi-year non-exclusive deal does not give Google access to the movie studio's library, which includes recent hits like Backrooms, Marty Supreme, etc. So my first thought was like, oh, do the Google employees not get to see the movies? But no, that's not what that means.
Yeah, that's not what that means.
It basically means they can't like use any A24 footage as data. So
Well, then what's the partnership about?
I think it's like,
I mean, I guess you can scrape other movies too. And like, C-Dance, which makes the Frontier like video gen model right now, is probably not super duper concerned about like IP and copyright, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Just speculation
and
here.
they also don't get the right to put A24's movies on YouTube or anything. Basically, they get nothing of the actual like content IP.
So what does Google get out of it?
They get equity, right? And then they get, like, I think they do get obviously the data that comes from the R&D lab that they collaboratively create or whatever. But I actually think this is like insane. This is pretty bullish because A24 is like almost one of the only big studios that I am bullish on. And if Google did the partnership with them, that Google might become like a media entertainment like superpower.
They already are.
They already are, but
entertainment
like
superpower. Unfortunately, black
Yeah.
pill. But it's like videos of like pregnant AI generated Ronaldo and Messi eating chocolate, which is literally what I saw on the other tab that I did not even worth putting up on
Yeah.
the stream. Not my favorite. Not my favorite thing. So Google is going through a little bit of a rough patch right now. Their stock is down 6% today. What happened? Well, what happened was Google is kind of losing some talent wars right now. So Noam Shazir, who was at Google essentially nonstop since 2000 and invented the transformer and mixture of experts and was extremely like critically influential in AI, he just left for OpenAI. John Jumper, who was a Nobel laureate at Google, who won the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 2024 along with Demis Hassabis for AlphaFold, just left Google for Anthropic. These are two really big departures just in the last week.
Yep.
So what's going on inside of Google? Something like not great is happening. Their models are also kind of faltering too. Like if you go on Arena AI, for example, we look at their leaderboard. Agent Arena, like the top Google model, Gemini 3.5 Flash, is literally below the last two generations of models from ZAI.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's below Sonnet, and of course it's below like all of the more recent Anthropic and OpenAI flagships.
Can we check it, like image gen?
Sure. Their image gen is also not as good as GPT image. Wow, whoa. Okay, Nano Banana 2 is below.
Oh wow,
I've never
Reeve
even
is
heard
really
of
good.
this. Reeve?
Image gen.
I've never heard of Reeve. Looks
Reeve
cool
AI.
though. Is it Reeve or Rev or Rev or what?
Rev.
Rev, yeah.
Reve. It just progressively gets more French. Yeah, they're based in Palo Alto. They're like a research lab for creative tools.
We have Midjourney at
Many
home.
such cases.
Where
Where's
is
Midjourney?
Midjourney on this? Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy. Whoa. Where is? No way, bro. No way.
Wow. It's okay. They're in the medical imaging business now.
No way. There's no way Midjourney's below stability AI. It must like not be being benchmarked or something.
I mean, have you used any of these recently?
Well, GPT image all the time.
So,
The others not really. Grok Imagine is number 7.
yeah, so Midjourney, I think it's falling behind in a few ways. I still think the like generative process, like its ability to take an image and turn it into a video, and its ability to use images as prompts is like way ahead. But I think the actual model itself is not that good from my usage recently.
Which?
Midjourney.
Oh.
So this honestly kind of tracks. I was also using Gemini to try to like take a font that I found online and then make it say a different word, and it would generate the photo with mistakes, and it would say, please note that this photo has a lot of mistakes. And I'm just like, okay, well, thanks for the transparency, King, but if you know this, why didn't you just generate it without mistakes?
That's funny.
So
Midjourney was peak in like 2023 though.
Yeah.
Like one of the first like viral AI image things was Harry Potter Balenciaga. You remember this?
Mm-hmm.
All the way back in 2023. This is Midjourney. And it was really good. And it went viral at the time. Also, the Pope wearing a puffer jacket.
I love how it made all of them like 15% more attractive.
This is
in that
Midjourney.
video.
This was like the first, I distinctly remember this as the first AI generated image that I saw and fell for. This was 2023. March 27th. So this was like right after GPT-4. I don't know if you guys remember, when I was around in March 2023, that was like a really like rapid time in AI. That like March 2023 specifically, February, March, felt like fast takeoff. It was the first time I'd felt like that. There's so much happening all at the same time. But anyway, Google is going through a rough spot. Oh, you can also see the Epoch Capabilities Index, where like Google models are just quite a bit below the frontier. Like Gemini 3.5 Flash from May is below GPT 5.3 Codex from February. So it's a 3-month gap. Gemini 3.5 Pro has still not been released for whatever reason. It's not clear why. There must be something going on inside
It's because
DeepMind.
it's better than Mythos.
Yeah.
It's because it's better and it poses more of a threat.
I feel like that is actually now like a real reason to not release a model if it is
that's
going to get
definitely
blocked
not
by
Google's
the US
reason.
government.
How much cheaper are Gemini models than others right now? I'm gonna ask.
$150 per million input tokens and $9 per million output tokens. So it's like Sonnet level pricing.
Okay.
Which is like, okay.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of excited for the Google A24 partnership. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Their
I
stock
just
is
hope
still
they
above
make
what it was in
Gem
April.
and not
It's going to be peak slop. It's going to be gem slop.
Gemini slop.
Gemini slop. It's literally going to be Gemini slop, but it's going to be peak gem slop.
Hope that makes sense.
Hope that makes sense. I think Andrew Curran was also posting about the downfall of Google. By the way, we don't actually believe in like the downfall of Google. Like AI leads change spots so often.
Yeah, like once a month.
Yeah, basically. Like it's really stupid when people are like, "Oh wow, look at this! This lab is currently in the lead right now. They have the mandate of heaven." Oh my god, Twitter people do this constantly. It's like whatever lab is currently slightly in the lead has the mandate of heaven, and it's gonna build AGI first, and it's gonna win the AI race, and then like another lab catches up, and then ooh, they have the mandate of heaven. It's like You guys are just looking at like the newest shiny object that pops up.
Yeah. Mom said it's my turn on the mandate of heaven.
Yeah, literally. There's
So
the
what we got here.
MICRON partnership with Anthropic. That's a big deal. We'll talk
Oh,
about
yes.
that in a moment. We'll see. Your first time at the Midjourney spot, it's Evangelion. That's funny. Have we heard anything more from DeepMind insiders? I remember Logan Kilpatrick tweeted like, "I can confirm that Google DeepMind is not dead," which, you know, likely thing for him to say. I believe him. Like, I don't believe that this means DeepMind is dead, but it means they're in a little bit of trouble. So I wonder, what is John Jumper going to be doing at Anthropic? Is it bio?
Not sure.
Imagine like you and your buddy like leave Google for Anthropic and it wipes out $130 billion of market cap. I'd be so flattered.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that must feel awesome, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know what the Anthropic Life Sciences division is like actually focusing on. Like, I think that they're like, I don't know that they're creating any like bio frontier models.
They are. Well, they're doing something. They have partnerships with all of the
I know they have a lot of
models.
partnerships. But it's not clear to me.
Like, pharma is a big business, and if they're coming up with models that can do like real pharma R&D, like this is seriously valuable stuff, and they're going to want to capture some of this value themselves.
Yeah.
They're not going to be content to just sell tokens forever like crude oil. They are also going to want to own the oil refineries.
So insane. So insane.
Crazy.
How much
Well,
do you think they're paying, bro?
Who, John Jumper?
Yeah.
A lot of money. A lot of money. Like, the top AI researchers. I was talking to a nameless researcher at a frontier lab this weekend, and I asked, like, how big of a deal are these departures? And he said there's basically 50 people in the world who, like, truly understand how to train a frontier model from end to end. And these people are some of the most economically valuable people on Earth, and, you know, they are compensated as such.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So
Enough said.
yeah. Like, how much are the highest paid athletes paid?
Like top 50.
List of, yeah, Ronaldo, 300 million a year. Messi, 140 million. This seems mispriced because Messi's better than Ronaldo. I'm such a LARPer. I don't know anything about this. Anyway, like, I bet that the top AI researchers are making about this. Like, when Andrew Tulloch was, do you remember this guy from Thinking Machines, who
Not really.
was poached by Meta, and they were offering him up to, like, performance-based comp, up to $1.5 billion over, like, 6 years? That's a lot of money. And, you know, surely, like, Nobel laureate John Jumper is going to get paid something similar. Do you imagine, like, just having that on the resume? Casual Nobel Prize.
Yeah.
Yep. Should we take a look at Micron?
Let's. I'm seeing if I can find anything about like top AI researchers.
Mm.
Pay.
Well, what if we find something about 11 Labs, which is AI that communicates at human level across every channel and modality, 11labs.io/MTS. And let's take a look at
Clean.
Micron. Micron and Anthropic just announced a huge partnership today, and Micron stock has spiked like tremendously. What do we have? 5%. Yep, $1.35 trillion company. Absolutely ridiculous, obscene vertical graph. Look at this.
Wow.
Look at this. It's unreal. And I'm so glad that I put all of my net worth into leveraged, like, out of the money Micron leaps a year ago. I did not do this. This is not financial advice.
I mean, I
Anyway.
couldn't trade until recently, so.
Yeah. Me neither. Micron today announced a strategic agreement with Anthropic that spans memory and storage, AI architecture design, supply and demand, enterprise adoption of Claude across Micron, and a strategic investment in Anthropic Series H. That's right. So
Okay.
Anthropic already actually announced this part of it in their Series H announcement.
Okay, so Micron has deployed Anthropic's Claude models to accelerate coding and enable more advanced agentic use cases. So they're getting that.
I'm going to ask Claude Opus, what does the Micron Anthropic partnership mean? What's your analysis? I guarantee you in this response, there's going to be a one honest caveat that I need to flag. I'm actually made by Anthropic, so I'm biased. I guarantee you it's going to be in there.
It's a pretty vague blog post.
Memory and storage AI architecture design is kind of a big one. This means that Micron is probably going to be designing chips specifically to work with Claude. This guy, Tom Brown, like no one ever talks about. He's co-founder of Anthropic. Before that, he was at OpenAI. And he's Anthropic's chief compute officer, which is like a big deal.
Mm.
And he was, before that, he was at DeepMind. He was one of the first 20 employees at OpenAI. He co-authored the paper that introduced reinforcement learning from human preferences, which is RLHF, huge deal. He led GPT-3 engineering and was responsible for the training infrastructure that allowed them to scale up 100x. Damn. And then before that, he he did like a YC slop startup. That's amazing.
Wait, we all start somewhere.
Holy pivot, bro. Look at this.
He locked in.
He really locked in. Co-founder and CTO of a YC-funded startup that sets up drinks between groups of 3 friends. Wow. Then he really locked in. Oh my God. This is like top 10 generational
Wait, this is literally, wow. He read some Nick Land.
Yeah, from this to first 20 employees at OpenAI inventing RLHF. And then...
This is like what happens when you find out about Roko's Basilisk.
Yeah, literally.
You just like lock the fuck in.
Absolutely. So what does Claude have to say? Technical collaboration. Yep, that's right. So Micron is going to help optimize chips for Anthropic. They're also going to support Anthropic's growth with their own data center memory and storage portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my analysis of what it means. A vertical alignment play. Memory has historically been a commodity. What this deal does is tie a memory supplier directly to a Frontier Model Labs roadmap. Yeah. So that memory architecture gets co-designed around the specific demands of training and serving Claude, basically.
Okay.
So
is
I wonder
this
if
useful without like broader semiconductor partnerships?
Yeah, because like memory design is probably important. There's probably ways in which you can optimize it to serve your specific model. I wonder if every lab is going to have their own like pet memory manufacturer.
Yeah, it's possible. Okay, I'm asking Claude my own round of questions right now. Like, does this make sense for a memory supplier?
I was wrong. It actually
good.
didn't say. Oh, there it is. There it is. Worth noting up front. Anthropic makes me, so take my read with that in mind. I'll try to be even-handed. Well. What did I say? And it also said honest and flag.
Great. There should be mini markets on what Claude says.
like manifold like prop bets.
Yeah, manifold prompting.
No,
Wait,
prop bets.
What
You
is
know,
that?
a
No.
prop market is like a market for like whether random things will happen as opposed to like the outcome of a process.
Okay.
So like at Manifest, they had all these prop markets that are like, will someone do 6-7 in front of Eliezer Yudkowsky? And someone did. This is like one of the more fun things about Manifest. You can make these prop bet markets on Manifold and then insider trade on them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's just like self-fulfilling prophecy markets.
Mm-hmm. So what else do we have? Google invests in A24. Micron's agreement with Anthropic. John Jumper leaving Google for Anthropic. What else is new under the sun? OpenAI has a new post. Let's look at that. We're expanding OpenAI Daybreak to help democratize patching vulnerable software at machine speed. Remember, OpenAI Daybreak is OpenAI's version of Project Glasswing. So they have a Codex security plugin. If you're a cyber defender, you get the full version of GPT 5.5 Cyber, which is just the same as the normal GPT 5.5, but with fewer filters. And they are directly working with maintainers to secure critical open source projects. So what does this mean? Okay, curl, Go, Python, Sigstore, and Pika. These are like big libraries, big open source libraries, big deal. $30,000 repos scanned, 500,000 fixed findings. Yeah, I mean, right now, like Mythos capabilities are very much in the process of being democratized. We have like GLM 5.2, which is a not quite Mythos class, but definitely quite good model that has been open sourced. And we have more models on the way that we'll be able to hack. So I think at this point, it might even make more sense to just broadly release these capabilities so people can defend.
Yeah. I want to do more deep dives on like hacker organizations.
Like what?
Like there's definitely known hacker organizations. Like around the world, and just like what do we know about them?
Known hacker organizations? There's like North Korean ones.
Yeah, I'm sure. But also like just private criminal groups, right? What are the main known hacker organizations? Hacktivist collectives.
Oh, I've heard of hacktivist collectives.
Yeah, like that's so awesome. Don't do that though, guys.
Don't do that, but do check out Granola, the AI notepad. Try it once and never go back. Granola.ai/MTS.
List of hacker groups.
Wikipedia, list of hacker groups. Anonymous.
What do you know about these?
Anonymous is like the guy who has the anonymous account on Twitter is just this like
so cringe
like Redditor.
Yeah. Anonymous Sudan. Wait, that's funny.
Allegedly is Russian backed and neither linked to Sudan nor anonymous. That's so funny.
Wait, that's actually really funny.
Derp, a hacker group that attacked several game sites in late 2013. Wow, he brought down League of Legends. Wow.
DC Leaks claims to be a group of American hacktivists.
This guy's awesome. Look at this. He brought down League. This guy's a hero. We need to build a statue of this guy.
Wait, hire him to train Mythos.
Yeah, literally. Ghostwriter, believed to be based in Belarus and affiliated with the armed forces of Belarus. This is like Ghost Security.
Squad hackers.
Oh, Gotse is a division of that.
Of what?
You'll see.
Okay, sure.
It's unstreamable.
Oh, okay.
That was like a troll organization in like the 2010s.
Wait, this is so funny. Killnet is a pro-Russian group that attacked several countries' government institutions and attempted to DDoS the 2022 Eurovision Song Contest website.
That is funny. It seems like this is kind of the only thing you can do if you live in a country that is like poor but has lots of human capital, but not much like connection
there's
to the global economy.
A lot of Russian and like
Russia,
European,
Belarus,
like hacker groups.
So like,
if you're in Eastern Europe, pivot to hacking.
Yeah, like if you can't just if you can't just like get a job working as like a software engineer at Google, like you can, if you're like a smart programmer in America, you can just get a job at FANG making 250, 300K a year. You can't really do that if you live in Belarus. So the next best thing you can do is join a hacktivist collective.
Wait, this one is interesting. Ghost Squad Hackers is a hacktivist group responsible for several cyber attacks. Former targets of the group include central banks, Fox News, CNN, the U.S. Armed Forces, and the
Wow.
government of Israel.
That's wow. This is a big one. Lazarus. Lazarus is run by the government of North Korea. This is another country with like no economy and lots of human capital.
Yeah.
You have like all of these smart like computer people, and they're not allowed to use the internet or whatever. So they put them in front of the computers and they have them steal lots of money via cybercrime.
Yeah. The earliest known attack that they had was Operation Troy from 2009 to 2012. It did a DDoS attack to target the South Korean government in Seoul. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Yeah. This was the one that attacked Sony Pictures in 2014 after the interview.
Lazarus?
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
Do you remember how like people thought it was going to be like nuclear war because the interview came out?
Yes.
And the North Korean government was so pissed.
Mm-hmm.
That movie's really funny.
I never watched this movie.
It's so funny.
Maybe I should
It gets
watch it.
really bad. Like it gets like just kind of trash second half, but the first half is really solid.
Kim Jong-un played by Randall Park. That's really funny. They had this guy play Kim Jong-un.
It's oh my God. This movie, bro.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that's pretty good actually. Yeah, now like North Korea feels so washed. Like no one fears them anymore. No one cares about them.
They fell off. Yeah.
They fell off so hard. Look at this one, LulzSec, a group of hackers originating and disbanding in 2011 that claimed to hack for the lulz, and this was their logo. Holy Reddit! Oh my God.
Dude. Oh my God.
I mean, eventually, like the stuff that we find funny on the internet is gonna feel like this.
This is already funny to me.
It is
like in a post-ironic way.
Rocket Kitten is a hacker group thought to be linked to the Iranian government, formed in 2010 by the hacker personas Care3X and Hurricane.
Okay. Sandworm is an advanced persistent threat, a cyber warfare of unit of the GRU, which is the main directorate of the General Staff of the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation. But it's just the GRU for short.
GRU.
So they are believed to be behind the December 2015 Ukraine power grid cyber attack, 2017 cyber attacks on Ukraine, various interference efforts in the 2017 French presidential election, the cyber attack on the 2018 Winter Olympics opening ceremony. Wow, so quite an impressive resume.
Yep.
Of hacks. And they also exploited a zero-day vulnerability via weaponized Microsoft Office documents in 2014. Let's see what they're up to now. On 29th of December, wiper malware samples were detected.
What are we looking? What is it?
This is the Sandworm hacker group.
Oh, Sandworm. I've heard of these guys.
So wiper malware samples were detected in the networks of multiple wind and solar farms in Poland. Wow. I wonder why they targeted Poland.
Why Russia targeted Poland?
Yeah.
Poland is like a NATO country.
I guess so. Is it?
Yeah, and it's like
just like any NATO country.
Well, yeah. Also, Poland is like very pro-Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a little risky for Russia to be like cyber attacking NATO.
Mm-hmm.
But they're so washed at this point. Man, Russia fell off like harder than any other civilization over the last 50 years. They're just like, it's just so over for them. Kind of a shame.
Mm-hmm. biggest fall offs of nations is like it's probably Russia and like Venezuela.
Yeah. Also the UK.
Oh, and the UK. Yeah, for sure.
Oh my God, what a fall off.
How much do you attribute that to being like Brexit?
Some of it, but it was in motion long before that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Should we do some banger review?
Yep.
But first, Kong, the AI connectivity platform, connect APIs, LLMs, agents, and systems with serious security and governance. Check out konghq.com. All right, let's look at some bangers. Starting with Tior Taxes. We love Tior Taxes. I think he's just one of the best accounts on the site. He's just amazing. Florian Brand, who we've had on the show from Prime Intellect, says, "We are in peak, Google is done for and will never catch up," which is always followed by them releasing a new model and people going, "The others are done for, no one has the TPUs and data that Google has." Yeah, this is what I was saying earlier, right? There's a cycle, mandate of heaven, mandate of heaven, mandate of heaven. And Tior Taxes responds, "GDM always comes back, was a reasonable prediction when they outclassed everyone by orders of magnitude. There's been a good post recently tracking how their compute advantage was falling, 100x, 50x, 10x. No, they legit can just lose. It'd still take a lot of time, though." I believe this also. Like, I think it's in the cards for Google to lose.
Yeah. What is their compute advantage at right now? If we had to like quantify. What is Google's?
I think Epoch has this. There it is. Data on AI chip owners.
Mm-hmm.
So Google still has the most compute out of anyone by quite a bit, 5 million. But like OpenAI and Anthropic are not like listed on here because they get all of their compute capacity from other sources.
Yeah.
Like OpenAI gets a lot of their compute from Microsoft and CoreWeave and Oracle. Anthropic gets a lot of their compute from Amazon and Oracle, and also Google, by the way. So not all of this Google compute is being used to train Gemini models. And in fact, some of this compute is not being used for like LLMs at all. Like, I think Meta was using H100s, like Frontier AI chips, in order to like serve Instagram Reels recommendations.
It's tough.
Yeah, so Google still has more compute capacity than anyone else, but they, no advantages are forever in AI world. And it is really incredible, like the story of how hard Google has fumbled AI for basically a decade straight. Like, if they had locked in back then, they could have had AGI now. Demis Hassabis was AGI pilled from 2011. If Google decided to orient the whole company around that, like, we could have had AGI earlier. And it would have been absolutely Google with no one even able to contest it, because Google was
the whole reason why like Elon, I guess, kind of started or was involved with OpenAI was because he was like, it's not going to be Google. So that's directly the reason why, probably.
Yep.
Also, per semi-analysis, a Google TPU is like 20 to 50% lower cost per useful flop than an NVIDIA GB200 or GB300, but same performance, roughly. So it's also cheaper.
Banger review.
Sorry, we nerded out.
Ben Guggenheim. Okay, this is more state of the timeline, I guess, than banger review. News. White House is aiming to issue an executive order on quantum tech as soon as this afternoon. Big themes: lab and agency coordination on quantum, supply chain security, post-quantum cryptography, and quantum commercialization. Not much to say about that now, but we will be monitoring it.
Quantum commercialization?
Yeah. That will be interesting to see.
What does that mean?
What are the commercial applications of quantum computing? Weather prediction?
Sure.
Financial portfolio
would it just be
optimization.
rented out?
Oh, material science. That's a big one.
Yeah.
And probably bio too. Yeah, simulating molecular interactions. Yeah, that's a big deal. Would what be rented out?
Like, would it be one company that develops the quantum computers and then that capacity is like sort of rented out.
No, a bunch of them do it. Like Google does it, for example.
I know Google does. It's the photo of Biden
Microsoft
looking
does
at the
it.
quantum computer. Can you pull that up?
Yeah.
It's such a funny photo. This is actually how it feels sometimes.
Yeah. This is how it feels to talk to Claude. Wow.
Man, I relate to that.
Yeah. Do you know that meme that's like, what? Joe Biden?
Yeah, I love this one.
Yeah. This is so good. What? Okay. Commercial applications of quantum computing. Computers do arithmetic. Grok, is this true? At Grok, can we get a fact check?
No way.
Okay. Quantum and combinatorics.
Whoa.
Right. Cybersecurity, chemical engineering, and molecular science, banking and finance. That's interesting. So basically, quantum would have lots of commercial applications.
Mm-hmm.
Looking for more bangers. This one's kind of good.
Okay.
If Claude Code dropped in 2010,
Wait, that does go hard.
that is pretty hard. That is pretty aesthetic. I remember actually.
They
when
should
I was a
actually just
kid-
drop this as like a part of a merch package or something.
When I was a kid, I had Microsoft FSX, Flight Simulator X,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a DVD or like a CD-ROM or whatever it was called. Yeah, it was a PC DVD. And I had this. Yeah, it was like games for Windows, and it was like a DVD case, and you would like take the thing out and put it in your computer,
Yeah.
your computer's DVD drive to install it. Kids these days could never understand.
I remember doing this with several Lego games. There was this like Lego game where you were like a pizza delivery driver or something. Do you remember this one?
No?
It's like Lego CD game pizza delivery.
Lego Island?
Lego Island. Holy shit.
Wow.
Oh my god, nostalgia nuke.
Nostalgia nuke. Lego Island DVD.
Yep.
Whoa.
And this was like an earlier memory that I had.
This is a real nostalgia nuke.
Oh, I never had the physical version.
Yeah, me neither. But like this is how it came originally.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Spore on DVD. Imagine how hard this must have gone.
Wait,
in
I want to buy
2006.
that. I genuinely want to buy it.
It's
Can I buy like
$9? Whoa, $9. That's amazing. I don't know what you do with it though. Like, could your PC even run like a DVD?
No, it's more like for decorative purposes.
Yeah.
Is there like a Spore poster I can buy? I would actually buy that.
Spore poster. These guys are so ugly. Holy.
Yeah, there is actually one. I found one on eBay. I remember
Ask
I
for
really
genuine
wanted.
Anthropic software.
That's cool. This aesthetic is like the like early Y2K like Windows
This is
Vista.
a little post Y2K.
Oh, this one. Yeah, this one's a little after.
This is they call it Windows Arrow,
Arrow. Yeah.
like Fruitiger Arrow.
Yep. Yeah.
And this is what it looked like. Kids
like-
these days could never understand. They could never remember.
Yeah.
They could never remember what it was like.
Oh, that wallpaper over there on the left of the
This one?
second row. Yeah, I distinctly remember. My computer had that.
Nostalgia nuke.
Yeah.
How to get the Arrow Glass theme on Windows 10? This just looks bad. It is nice that like Apple is kind of going back to this with liquid glass. So you can have your Fruitiger Arrow PC once again. Yeah, I do love this aesthetic.
This one is like briefly when this is like reminds me of McAfee, and like when things got ugly for a bit, like 2010.
What do you mean? Oh, like Windows 8?
Yeah.
Windows 8 was the worst Windows. So trash.
Dude. Oh my god. Yeah, visceral reaction from that.
Yeah, not good.
That was
Remember the
horrible.
Windows Phone?
Things fell off. Yes, I remember the Windows Phone.
My friend had a
like,
Windows Phone.
Aunt or something had a Windows Phone.
Yeah, it just like looks weird. Windows like extremely
honest,
lost mobile to iOS.
It was like much better than Windows 8 on the computer.
I agree.
But like, I mean, it's kind of funny. I would get one today.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, just like as a prop.
As a prop.
Yeah, this is kind of funny.
Let's see. Can you buy like a old Windows phone?
I really hope that like we get to a spot in society where you can just like kind of custom order hardware. That would be really cool.
You can if you're a company. Yeah, look at this, $187.
But just like direct to consumer custom hardware.
That would be cool. Refurbished Nokia Lumia for $27. And it works apparently.
New burner phone just dropped.
Yeah. When did the Windows Phone get discontinued? Windows Phone WP. When was it discontinued? Oh, wow. Their staff got laid off in 2016. Ceased active development in 2017. Final release was 2015. Wow. Archived official website at the Wayback Machine. What happens if you go on windowsphone.com? Oh, when does support end for my version of Windows? Oof. Poor Wayback Machine is so like overloaded on compute that, or rather, you know, overburdened on compute that they can't
load anything.
They can't load anything. This is sad. All right, let's look for some more bangers. All of my bangers right now are just about Keir Starmer leaving as Prime Minister of the UK. But, you know, we have another, I don't know if I'd call it a banger. It is very sad. Alan Greenspan passed away today at the age of 100. He was the chairman of the Fed for like 20 years. They call him architect of the modern American economy. Let's see his New York Times obituary. Oh yeah, he was also friends with Ayn Rand. This is such a hard photo. Oh my God, look at this.
Wow, that does go hard.
Yeah. When we need to get the like prime MTS photos to look like this.
It's very Oppenheimer looking.
Yeah. Arguably the most recognizable economist of any era. He led the central bank under 4 presidents. That's right. Reagan, H.W. Bush, Clinton, and W. Bush. Much of his tenure coincided with a streak of affluence in which he stood as the embodiment of a triumphant post-Cold War strain of American capitalism. Optimistic, faithful in the power of markets to improve living standards, captivated by the power of technology, and averse to regulation. Yeah, we need guys like this again. Yeah, he was remarkably successful at holding down inflation.
I'm like looking through his Wikipedia right now. He studied clarinet at the Juilliard School and played clarinet and saxophone.
Oh, Sebastian Mallaby wrote a biography about him. That same guy, Mallaby, just wrote a biography of Demis Hassabis and DeepMind. Yeah, so he was the Fed chair for over 18 years. I think he was the longest serving Fed chair of all time.
You can theoretically serve indefinitely, right?
Yeah, I mean, as long as you... Wait, actually, is that true?
I'm not sure.
No, there are 4-year terms, but they can be reappointed indefinitely.
Okay, cool.
Wow, he was a corporate director for Alcoa, ADP, Capital Cities ABC, General Foods, JP Morgan, Mobil, and Pittston. Wow. Yeah, he's a monetarist and Austrian economist. Yeah, I don't know much about Fed chairs. You know, there's some people who go like really deep into this stuff. People love macro.
Young macro, yes.
That would be an interesting segment. Should we have Young Macro on to talk about Greenspan?
That would be great.
That'd be crazy. He was in Ayn Rand's circle. Ayn Rand basically built a cult around herself.
Yeah.
The Ayn Rand Collective.
Need to do that.
They really like worshipped her. It was interesting. Many people don't know Ayn Rand's real name, which was Alice O'Connor. They also don't know she was married for like most of her life because she was a little bit open.
Yeah, he was a proponent of objectivism.
He dated Barbara Walters. That's crazy. That's incredible lore, actually.
Was he married?
Yeah, he married Andrea Mitchell.
Okay.
He was married by, the officiant of his wedding was Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Oh, wow.
Lore.
Housing bubble.
Andrea Mitchell, wow, 79. Interesting age gap. No, the age gap is very aristocratic. Wow, American Philosophical Society, Knight Commander of the Order of the British Empire, Presidential Medal of Freedom, you know, honorary degrees to Harvard, Yale, NYU, Penn, you know, you name the honor, he had the honor. He invented the phrase irrational exuberance. Remember this?
No, I didn't know that.
In the 90s, he said irrational exuberance, talking about the dot-com bubble, and people took that to mean that, oh, the stock market is overvalued. The Tokyo stock market was open during the speech and immediately dropped 3%. And then it became like a huge, like very important phrase.
Mm-hmm. So he called the housing bubble and the dot-com bubble?
Well, yeah, kind of. Fed speak. In monetary policy of the U.S., the term Fed speak, also known as green speak after Alan Greenspan, is what Alan Blinder called a turgid dialect of English. Turgid means like, yeah, pompous, basically. Usage by Alan Greenspan, what did he say? That's funny. Greenspan described it as, if you don't want to answer a question, you can't say no comment because that is an answer. He said, so I proceed with 4 or 5 sentences which get increasingly obscure. The congressman thinks I answered the question and goes on to the next one. Yeah, it seems like a lot of people in the tech industry do this too.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Wow, they have examples of green speak, Fed speak here. Yeah, so rest in peace, Alan Greenspan. You was a real one. All right, let's see what other bangers we have. No, this is too culture war.
Scared.
No, it was just that like TikTok of that one girl saying like, I don't have morals.
Yeah, okay.
Wow, so much World Cup stuff, so much Keir Starmer stuff. Okay, this one's actually really funny. We could look at this one. Watch, Andy Burnham, who's going to be the next Prime Minister of the UK, has just left Manchester and is set to arrive in London at 1:09 p.m. 10:33, the cannibal has left his lair. The Mancunian ogre has boarded the train at Piccadilly. The tyrant has crossed Crewe. Burnham is in Stafford but will never reach the capital. Andy will be in our city within the hour. And then the next Prime Minister has made his triumphant entry at London Euston amid his faithful subjects, which is this incredible historical reference to Napoleon. You might remember that Napoleon lost the war in 1814 and was exiled to the island of Elba, which he then escaped, landed in the south of France, and basically marched on Paris and took it over again. And so this is a reference to like the way that the French newspapers talked about his route to Paris every day. So they started with, where's the image? The cannibal has come out of his lair. The Corsican ogre has landed at Gulf Juan. And then, and then they get nicer to him over time. The tyrant, the usurper. Bonaparte is advancing with great strides. Napoleon will be below our ramparts. His imperial and royal majesty has made his entry in the Tuileries yesterday amid his faithful subjects.
This is like levels of switching up that have never been seen before.
Yeah, basically.
Did you watch the movie?
The Napoleon movie?
Yeah.
It was so bad.
It was so bad.
It was so bad.
And,
they just
and it's
they
such
didn't
a
do it
waste
justice
of,
at all.
Yeah, no, not.
There
It was
should have been
actually
way
such
more
a
hype
horrible
or a
movie.
Yeah.
Um,
They should have had way
I'm
more
actually a
hype
little
or
enraged
moments.
by how bad it was, but
I know. I was expecting it to be so good. I watched it in the theaters.
and it was a waste of Joaquin Phoenix's talents as well.
And he's too old. That's the problem. Like Napoleon was in his 20s when he did the siege of Toulon.
Yeah.
How
And what are you
old
doing,
was
Anon?
Napoleon at Toulon. He was 24, and Joaquin Phoenix is like 48 or something.
Dude,
in
if I
this
don't do a
movie.
siege by 24, it's over.
We are sieging someone.
Oh.
We're winning. We're winning the siege. Oh, this is funny. If you're ever struggling to make plans with your friends, this works, by the way. Can everyone try looking at your calendars again, but this time with a focused spirit of compassion and affection for me? Yeah, so true. So true.
I love tech. Like,
yeah.
this is incredible tech.
Look-
Guilt trip tech.
Guild trip tech. That's good. IKEA's new World Cup campaign is flags made out of IKEA products. We love this clever design. Good stuff.
Wait, yeah. This goes hard.
This does go hard. Brazil, Argentina, England, Germany. It occurred to me that there are people out there who just don't know flags.
I don't know them too well.
Do you know all of these flags?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
But like,
I mean, I'm not asking you to know the flag of Tuvalu or whatever.
Yeah. Do you?
No, I probably if I looked it up, I would recognize it. Yep, I recognize it. Oh, this one is good. I don't know if you saw this clip from the World Cup. Referee just goes, after review, Paraguay, number 10, cover his mouth. Decision is red card. And it was like the craziest, like loudest yell of all time. It was wild. How's Argentina doing right now? Oh, they're up 1-0. Messi scored a goal. That means Messi has the most goals of anyone
oh my God,
in World Cup history.
He just locked the fuck in. I mean, he's goated.
He's like almost 40 now. Breaks World Cup goals record. Wow. Speechless.
Dude, what do you think he's gonna do when he retires?
Oh my God, this like just happened? Did it just happen? No. Speechless as Messi becomes the all-time leader in World Cup goals.
It might have just happened. It's all like from like 40 seconds ago.
No, it was 38 minutes. So it was
okay.
a little bit ago.
Yeah, but what do you think he's gonna do when he retires? I remember seeing like videos of like tours of his house. And I was like, holy shit, he's so rich.
Yeah. I mean, he's literally like a billionaire just from playing soccer and being good at it. He doesn't seem like no offense to the GOAT. He doesn't seem like a super bright guy. He's just really good at like playing football. So what is he going to do when he retires? Probably like coach soccer. Like what else is he going to do?
Probably.
Oh, this one's good. The Economist. European...
Oh, do you remember when Shakira was dating that other, like, I think it was a Spanish football player?
Gerard Piqué. Never heard of this guy.
Yeah. PK.
6'4".
Then I think they got divorced. Was he Spanish? What did he play?
He was Spanish.
Yeah.
All right, last banger. European football fans visiting America are discovering the mass affluence of the country's suburbs. The wealth enticing holidaymakers troubles the European elites. America, once a peer, seems to be
Wait, this is how we're
ahead.
going to get Europe to lock in.
And this guy tweets, Europours traveling to the World Cup in America, witnessing the suburbs. Like, this is so true. Like, if you've ever been to just like random middle-class American suburbs, they're just like dripping with wealth by, any global standard.
Yeah.
America's a deeply rich country. All right, this is our banger review. We're going to be right back with Blitzy, autonomous software development for enterprise code bases. Ship 5x faster, blitzy.com. We'll be right back with Olivia Scharfman from Institute for Progress. Peace. We are back. We are live with Olivia H. Scharfman. This is our second time on the show, so welcome back.
Thanks. Good to be back.
Yeah, absolutely. So Olivia does biosecurity and biotech at the Institute for Progress, friends of the show. We love IFP. You recently wrote this article, Doomerism as Optimism, the problem with doomers and optimists. And you said rather than basically doomers hate AI, doomers hate technology, and optimists are rational, you said that there are two axes of belief. The belief that good generally triumphs over evil, and the belief in, like, the real belief in the potential of AI as not like the other technologies. And so this creates, political compass type taxonomy where you have 4 different quadrants of people.
Yep. I think this is the best taxonomy that I could come up with using only 2 axes. There's probably a better way to do it with a third one, which is like, if you think it's capable, actually, how much risk do you think there is? But I think these 2 capture people who are aligned actually pretty well.
Yeah. So where do you fall? As like a starter
Upper right.
question?
Upper right. I definitely believe that AI could be a unprecedentedly capable technology. I don't think it's a normal technology. I think it could completely change the world as we know it. And I'm very optimistic about like good triumphing in this scenario.
Awesome. Yeah.
Well, you labeled this quadrant as today's doomers, the people who are, believe that AI has exponential potential, and also that good triumphs over evil. But aren't the doomers in the bottom right quadrant?
Yeah, I think maybe Claude's generated graph doesn't do a great job of capturing this. I think the entire right side of the graph is labeled as doomers in modern discourse, and I think really only the bottom, like the bottom of the bottom quadrant on the right should be.
Do you live in DC?
I'm about to.
Where are you based right now?
New York.
Okay, so this does actually kind of seem like an artifact of like not being in SF. Because in SF, like, people who sincerely believe in AGI are not universally labeled as doomers.
Yeah, you should pull up Rob Bensinger's graph right now.
Yeah, all right, let's pull up Rob Bensinger's graph. We'll
He
get
did
that.
a really good one where like all of the quadrants are like sub-separated into a bunch of groups.
This is a kind of different taxonomy. I like the sub-separated quadrants, but this is basically like, what should we do about AI? Prioritize alignment research versus governance halting the tech. So it does kind of sneak in this doomer assumption that like you'll need to do alignment research, which I happen to agree with, but some people don't. And then there's no need to worry about superhuman AI versus superhuman AI is an existential emergency.
Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting way to do the taxonomy. I'm not sure I agree with it because it does smuggle in some assumptions. I think that you could probably come up with something better using both this and how I laid it out that would more accurately put people in the same camps together. I think my gripe was just, and maybe this really isn't the case in SF, but I hear a lot, and maybe this is a political thing, but that people who are worried about AI risk are like anti-technology people. And I don't think that's the case. And I think it's probably not the case in SF. I think in SF, the discourse is probably more up to date.
It's actually very much not the case, like strangely not the case, that the anti-tech people, just like the broad sort of Luddite people, don't really talk about AI risk at all. They seem to be much more concerned about parochial stuff like water usage and energy usage and like concentration of power. Not that concentration of power is not a real issue, but it's not like the main threat model of the AI doomers. So I wonder why I think it's just because their model of the world can't include like technology really being that powerful, because if it were, then they should support technology more often.
Yeah, I would put those people on the bottom left. I think there's like I think those people fall into a broad anti-technology category. And I think this is probably captured better in my prose than on the graph. But there are just like groups of people on the bottom who think that nothing is going to be good, regardless of how capable the technology is, because they think that even at the rate that it's going now, or even at the current like level of technological advancement, things will simply fall apart. Like they don't believe in society being resilient to this type of change at all.
Do you think these people also like don't really believe that the current arrangement of society is optimal, or like they're already pessimistic about the current?
Does anyone?
Well, I mean, like, yeah, but I think there's a gradient of people who like tend to focus on like the suffering versus the like good things that are happening, and obviously there's like material privileges and stuff that play into that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's exactly the category of people here. I think if nothing changed and technology did not develop any further, they would still be deeply unhappy with the direction society is moving in.
This is a really, really good point that very few people talk about. We must remember that many doomers of the Yudkowskian flavor are coming from Nick Bostrom's perspective of preventing astronomical waste. They're so optimistic of technological progress that to them, the primary opportunity cost of catastrophe is foreclosing technological progress toward that future. It would be difficult to be more optimistic about technology. Yes, this is so true. Like a lot of people sort of smear the like Miri camp as just like hating technology and just being Luddites. This is so not the case. There are definitely some newer people in like the Stop AI Discord or whatever who are more like that. Like Guido Reichstatter is an example of this. You know, he is not really pilled on technology at all. He just kind of wants to stop AI. But you know, Yudkowsky is like the original techno-optimist. He started the Singularity Institute. Like his whole early motivation was like wanting to end death and conquer the stars. This is some deep Yudkowsky lore that most people know about, or most people don't know about rather, is that when he was quite young, his 19-year-old brother was unexpectedly killed in a car accident. And it like totally changed his perspective on like the fragility of life. And from that, he came to realize like, oh, wow, we really do need to end death. Because like, you know, this kind of thing, which just crushed him, you know, happens to people all over the world every day.
So there's an interesting graph at the bottom of this that maps out like where the models place themselves on this taxonomy.
DeepSeek is an AI doomer. The Chinese models are AI doomers. Wow.
Yeah. This is very surprising to me.
That's really funny, actually.
Because it got me thinking about like the researchers and the people training the Chinese models.
And they're not doomers at all. They don't really think much about AGI risk at all.
I mean, how sure are we?
I'm not entirely convinced. I have no idea.
I'm kind of convinced. Like, you know, people ask them, like, what do you think about AGI risk? They're like, yeah. I just think, like, you know, they believe in the transformative potential of the technology. They're less pilled on the idea of the tech, like, killing everyone. Although this doesn't mean that they don't believe that there are risks inherent to AI.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if this says something broadly about the training data or about the people working on it. It says something about one of the two. I think I wouldn't be surprised if people directly working on those models were less likely to share their concerns if they had them for cultural reasons.
Yeah, like reception within China. Yeah. This makes sense.
I think it's especially in a technology race, and on some level is a geopolitical race.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if anybody very aligned with their government said, hey, maybe we should stop doing this.
Yes. This just makes sense.
One other point that I think often gets overlooked is that to some of the people who believe AI is a normal technology, like there are levels to this too. Like there are some people who sincerely believe like, oh, they're like, these are overhyped, like stochastic parrot chatbots that, you know, will never make a profit for anyone. And like, I mean, those people are just like retarded. Like we can ignore them, I think, at this point. They have been disproven, their predictions have been falsified. But then there are the people who are like, AI is a normal technology, but also the internet is a normal technology, where it produced huge amounts of economic growth and it spawned trillion-dollar companies and it totally reshaped parts of society. Not all of society, but parts of society. You know, like the way, you know, people find work or friends or relationships is very different from what it was because of the internet. So like there's various levels of being a capability pessimist, so to speak.
Yeah, that's why I kind of framed it as just a tool. And I think I mentioned that I think the like Andreessen-esque techno optimists sometimes fall into this category, where they might be very optimistic about what the technology can do for the world, but they don't really see it kind of becoming super intelligent or, you know, being able to act on its own to the degree that I think many people think it may be. And by on its own, I don't mean like completely on its own, but, you know, with like one simple prompt, be able to take many actions.
Well, why not completely on its own?
I think is already the case, or already beginning to be the case.
Why not completely on its own? Are you a capability pessimist?
I don't want to make any claims that are too strong. No, I suspect it will be able to act completely on its own, personally. But again, none of my views reflect the views of any institution I've worked for or will work for.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, another thing that I think about all the time is like how the definition that I like classically had about AI when I was younger was more of the like classic, like, you know, sort of like robot ex machina sort of thing that was like not only like, you know, had intelligence in like a verbal or visual sense or whatever, but just like completely surpassed the senses, I guess, like in the ways that like
what
like it was basically it was not only like embodied and had all of the senses that humans had, but possibly something more. And that's like always how I thought about AI. It was like something that was like actually just incomprehensible.
This is an extremely high bar, by the way.
I know.
Like a lot of people's conception of AI is like, oh, you know, GPT-3 was AI.
Yeah, no, for me, it's like, I have the sense that there is like that superhuman thing that is like post-human or whatever. And I've always had that sense. And so that I like think to where we are now, and I'm like, it's just going to like sort of snowball into that. I don't have like a time frame for it, but we're just at like one sort of like snapshot of where it's going to go.
Yeah, that's right. There's levels to the people who are AI capability optimists as well.
Yeah.
Like you have people who, let's say on the low end, they're like, you know, AI will like substantially increase like economic productivity, and we're gonna get like, you know, 10% GDP growth, and we're gonna cure some diseases, which would like still be like an totally unprecedented acceleration from today's tech. And then at like the far end, well, you know, the very far end, it you know, meaning kind of breaks down. And like we merge with the machines. There's like a sci-fi story about this of like
Pantheon?
No, it touches on similar topics, but there's like a sci-fi story where there's just like nanobots that.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
With nanobots, and it's like a red goop that like encompasses the world, and but not in a bad way. It sort of like assimilates everything and
in a chill way.
Yeah, in a chill way. Prey by Michael Crichton.
In a pluribus, we're here to help.
This is what it was. Blood music.
Blood music. Yeah, I read this. Yeah. I thought you were thinking about this. This was a short story, right?
I have not read this. I will add it to the list.
So yeah, nanoscale civilization basically takes over the scientist's body. The people who are infected by them start to find that genetic faults such as myopia and high blood pressure are fixed.
Yeah.
And then they aggregate most of the biosphere of the North America into a giant, you know, nanobot civilization, and it's like awesome. This is what people are imagining at like the high end of what AI could do. And like this just doesn't even touch the discourse.
I think the 10% GDP growth is definitely to the left of the y-axis on this graph.
Really?
I think
10% GDP growth is crazy.
Yeah, but I think
3%?
that you can have that opinion and still view it kind of as just a tool. I mean, this on some level is where the taxonomy kind of falls apart, because I think that you could have that opinion and think that, there's this, one person on Earth who is going to misuse it badly enough that we should still be worried about risk.
Yeah, totally.
So that introduces something that's like a little bit hard to capture here.
I mean, there's already people on Earth who like misuse, you could argue misuse like technologies that are already very powerful. So I think it would just be that, but their power would be like basically be sustained for way longer. It'd be harder to get those people out of power. That's like where I tend to fall when it comes to like certain concerns that I have. How would you define like defense acceleration? You mentioned it a few times.
Yeah, I would say it's about funding and developing technology that can protect humanity broadly. So I think this involves stuff that falls into the category of national defense, but I also think AI alignment falls into this category. I think a lot of biosecurity work falls into this category. Biosecurity is obviously the area that I'm most worried about in terms of like what kind of misuse I think could be most catastrophic. So that's why I work on it.
Could it also involve like defense against like maybe parts of the economy not being resilient or like people getting exploited or whatever?
Yeah, I think so. I think there is like some subcomponent that's like a little more normal and a little less catastrophic risk focused that like is about building up better capacity. I think this is something that might happen naturally. So I suppose I'm just less worried about it. I'm very optimistic about society becoming resilient to the types of changes that I think will come. The things I'm worried about are the things that I think are public goods that are less likely to be addressed by the market because I have a strong belief that the market and also the discourse will help us find the right answer to the other questions.
Right. Do you think that there's do you think that like the extinctionists are like do you think there's any value to being an extinctionist? Like,
wait, what do you mean by extinctionist?
Like being like if
like in the Rob Bensinger technology, like it's
yeah.
fine or good if AI kills us. By the way, anything we say here, like if we ever get famous on MTS, like this is gonna be clipped by the anti-tech people. They're gonna be like, MTS supports wiping out the human race.
No. I mean, just like, is there literally any value to be making this argument? Because to me, it seems like kind of dumb to just be like walking around being like, oh, AI will make us extinct and like whatever. I don't know.
So you're talking about like the successionists, like the worthy successor type?
Yeah, worthy successor is like fine, I think, on a long time horizon, ensuring that humans who are alive today live good and full and
like
long
remember that
lives.
clip of Peter Thiel where he was asked like, should humanity go on? And he just was like,
okay, but like there's very few people who are like, the AI nanobot apocalypse is going to kill us all in the next 10 years, and that's good, and I support that. Like, it's kind of a straw man of the real belief, which is like, look, in the very long run future, we're all going to die, and we're going to have descendants that go on to do things that might be somewhat different from what we would like. They might have some value drift. And this is fine. This is just like the natural order of things. We should try to shape our descendants to make sure that they do great things. And once our time is done, we should try to extend our time. We should try to live a good time. But once our time is done, like our descendants will have the torch passed to them, and they can go on to light up the universe. And I think that's like fine. This is like the Robin Hanson belief. I think it's also totally compatible with other beliefs in this sphere because it deals on totally different time horizons. Like we're talking about millions of years.
I agree with that. Yeah. I think all of these could actually make sense on different time horizons,
I think it depends. I'm not a pure utilitarian, and I'm certainly not a consequentialist. And I am a little bit of a human tribalist. I would like to see mankind semi-close to the form that we are currently in. be the ones who go out and colonize the stars, like I kind of left off the essay with. I think there's room for a lot of augmentation, maybe even for other species, but I would prefer a future where the like degree of entities living wonderful lives that Nick Bostrom described includes a large subset of people. I
Yeah,
think,
sure.
I most highly weight the people alive today living long and full and happy lives, but I
Yes, I
also
agree.
weight those future lives.
Yeah.
I agree.
This is also interesting. Anti-AI, superhuman AI skeptics. Yeah, those are just like the antis. Rob Bensinger thinks
I
that
don't
AOC
understand this
is
position.
what position?
I don't understand that position.
Oh, they're just like Luddites. They just don't like technology,
Yeah.
or they don't like capitalism. It is what it is. Which it's kind of a shame because leftists used to be very pro-tech and pro-economic growth, and now they're just like not even like implicitly.
What I find odd is the like searching for reasons to say that we should halt AI growth that
Yep.
like seem to be largely made up.
Like water.
Which I don't know. I think it depends on the location. I'm sure there are some areas where this might be an issue, but I think the broad concern that people have seems to me to be not a real concern.
Yep, I agree. I mean, just generally, I'm not concerned at all about AI risks that are not existential risk from superintelligence or economic obsolescence. Like those are the only two risks I think really matter. People talk about like the meaning
Define
crisis.
economic obsolescence.
If humans are like unable to provide economic value, then there is a risk that the universe, basically the economy, will just not need to keep us around. I think that would be bad.
There's also like inequality risks from AI. I don't know if that would encompass this first camp, but it could.
Maybe. I'm
actually not very worried about this.
About inequality
I think,
risks.
yeah, the like whole discourse about the permanent underclass. From my perspective, is if this becomes an issue, it would be intractable for society to continue to go on that way, and the people will make changes.
Why?
If there are changes.
Well, I'm
need to be
thinking
made.
also like third world v first world kind of like divides just like furthering.
I'm not super worried about that. I think that there will be like huge returns to AI from everyone in the world, like even just from philanthropy.
I
I
hope
think
so.
that I have like profound hopes that philanthropy will help solve the distribution problem. Like I think that this technology will proliferate, like will diffuse eventually. I think it might be slower than we would like it to be, but I'm hopeful.
Possibly
Yeah, I mean-
FDEs, like just like forward deployed engineers in like other countries also possibly solve this.
Basically, yeah, this is my bull case for like development of like Africa, is you just have like a forward deployed robot economy that goes out and like builds infrastructure.
FDE
and-
swarm.
Yeah, literally. Like, how did China develop? China actually used to be, in 1950, China was poorer than almost any country in Africa. And now it's like a solid, upper middle income country with some of the best cities in the world. And like, they did that by just like having this very organized and yet effective process of economic growth over decades. And, this, for various reasons that are, out of scope, this did not happen in Africa as much as people had hoped. And like, I think that you could basically just copy paste Chinese economic development anywhere if you have lots of robots.
Well, one thing I will say is that on some level, AI is a great equalizer. Like, I think there was a tweet recently referring to man-made, God made man, but Sam Colt made them equal.
I'm so sad. I tweeted this 3 years ago,
Man-made.
and it got no likes.
Oh, is this a stolen tweet?
No, it wasn't stolen. It was Tomy. We love Tomy, and
Yeah.
he certainly came
We
up
love
with this
Tomy.
by himself. But I also came up with it 3 years ago, and it got like 12 likes.
Well, it should have gotten more likes because I think the idea that AI will actually make us equal because it basically democratizes intellectual capability is something that doesn't get enough attention. I believe it's Sam Altman made them equal.
Yeah, I believe this as well. I just think there needs to be enough talent thinking about like there just needs to be enough talent and momentum in that direction, because then I'm sort of like, my concerns are like, oh, if people are just like, talent is all just aggregating into all of these labs, we need people to be working on ed tech, but like, what are you looking at right now?
There it is. This is my tweet. It was too pithy. I don't think people got the joke. God created man.
Oh,
Samuel.
wow.
Yeah, it's November 24th, 2023.
You know what? I'll go back and I'll find it. And
Okay.
Wow.
I'll give it a like and a retweet.
But it's just a reference to this like famous quote: "God created men, Samuel Colt made them equal because he invented the Colt revolver."
Yep.
Fire.
Yeah, and then Tomi said this: "We're now competing on beauty." Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that will be
Like
democratized by AI
is
too.
subtweeting clavicular, I guess.
Yeah. Well, this has been great. Definitely good essay. Check it out. oliviahelens.substack.com. Doomerism as optimism. Subscribe.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate you having me on, and hopefully talk to you again soon.
Absolutely. We'll be right back.
Talk to you soon. Thanks, Olivia.
Bye.
We are live. We are so back in the Situation Room with Miles Matthias of Stripe to talk about Stripe Directory, which is a new product that just launched today, which is very interesting, actually. So, Miles, welcome to MTS.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be with you.
Yeah, I am as well. So, for the audience, what is Stripe Directory?
Stripe Directory is a really easy way to search across the Stripe network to find solutions to whatever problem you're having, what thing you're trying to do. So whether you're a human or an agent and you are trying to look for tools or services, you can look across the Stripe Directory, find real businesses that offer solutions to the problem you're looking to solve. And then really importantly, our search results actually will try to help you with the next step. So if you're an agent trying to, provision some infrastructure or pay someone for some one-off usage, we tell you the exact command to go take that next step so you can just solve the problem, just get done. Go from I found the thing that can help me to I implemented it as fast as
Mm.
possible. So that's what a directory is.
So how does it differ from just like standard agent web search?
Yeah, so it differs a couple of different ways. So every single search result on Stripe directory is a Stripe profile. And this is a new business network that we released recently where, we have billions of businesses running on Stripe, and they can opt in to create a public profile of themselves on Stripe network. And so there's a whole bunch of things that you can do now with that, including sending and receiving money for free across the Stripe network. But you also will get listed in the Stripe directory. And so you can have faith that the results that you're getting are real businesses on the Stripe network that you're going to want to interact with.
So it's like B2B social media.
Yeah. The other crucial component, like I said, is we all not only want to just show you that this business exists, but we also want to show you what other pieces, how you could integrate with them, right? And so at Stripe, as you know, we're building kind of the economic infrastructure for AI, and that means a whole bunch of different things. So we've released things like projects.dev to make it really easy to spin up infrastructure. We've released things like mpp.dev to support machine payments, whether it's X402 or stable coins or cards. We have hooked all of that in. And so then the Stripe directory not only gives you those results, but then says, okay, here's how you can actually go interact with them. Here's how you can take the next step. And so you can really hook this up to your agent, tell your agent the problem you're trying to solve, and it can go and find a great business to help you and then actually go solve your problem for you.
I love how one of the examples on the docs page is Postgres serverless database Neon, which is one of our sponsors. Shout out. Neon.com.
Yeah, they've been a great partner.
Yeah, to us too. So what are like some of the other, Stripe has been like very early on building services for agents, and they have done a lot of them over the last few years. Like, what are some other things that Stripe is doing for agents?
We're doing quite a few things, right? So we've helped build, whether it's agentic commerce and our shared payment tokens. We're looking at things like machine payments so that agents can spend freely. We just announced the Link AI wallet so that you as a consumer with one of your Link wallets, we just passed 300 million consumers on Link recently. And so if you're one of those 300 million users with your Link wallet, you can give your agent access to your Link wallet and get a notification when anytime it wants to go pay and then approve on a per payment basis. So we're really helping AI agents be both buyers and sellers in the economy. Whether you're a Stripe user running your business or whether you're a consumer looking to give your agent superpowers to go pay.
Right. So how do you think this will sort of like change what type of companies do business with each other? Like, do you think it will just like make it more efficient, or do you think it'll cause like some unlikely partnerships, or do you think it'll just like facilitate sort of what's already there?
Both. Our hope is that it's going to make it much easier for you to onboard users, to find users that are trying to solve your problem and get them onboarded much faster, right? In the age of AI agents, like things move really, really quickly. And so you need to capitalize on someone trying to look for your product or your service and get them into a converting user as quickly as possible. And so we hope that this layer really helps drive that. We also really hope for Stripe users that are growing businesses where they have found value in something that they've built, that they can find new customers in new places that they might not have reached before and reach new levels without necessarily having to kind of go, 10x their marketing spend or try to figure out some new motion or something, right? We want to try to highlight businesses that are doing, have seen real value and connect them to people that are trying to have those problems and want to use their service.
Awesome. So we were just talking like before we went live about like the recent partnership with Noose Research as well, like between Stripe and Hermes Agent. So can you tell us a little bit about that and like where you envision this partnership going?
Yeah. So we big fans of Hermes Agent. I love my Hermes Agent. Ferguson helps me do a lot of stuff. We contributed a number of different Stripe skills to the project, and one of the key ones is really making it easy for that Link AI wallet to be present in your Hermes Agent. So if you are running a Hermes Agent, you have a Link, wallet. We have the iOS and Android mobile apps for Link is installed as well. Then you can make it really easy to tell your Hermes agent to go buy things for me, get a notification that your agent wants to buy something, say yes, and it'll go off and handle it for you.
What kinds of things do you think agents will be buying? Or like how will agentic commerce differ from human-directed commerce?
I think a number of different ways. I think, I think the initial things that we'll start seeing consumers do are save me time, right? So things that I might have gone and bought myself otherwise, but I just kind of didn't want to do it myself. So I wanted an agent to go do it, right? So maybe a lot of consumer things. I think what's interesting in the future is we'll start to see people having agents want to solve a problem, go build something, and that agent be making more decisions on its own about what it might need, right? So you might say, look, hey, my Hermes agent, help build something to help me keep a handle on what's trending on X this day or something, right? And the agent on its own might go, oh, in order for that, I need a storage solution in order to store some vector database in order to make it really searchable so that when Miles comes on, he can search everything, right? So the agent then is going to identify its own needs and then say, I'm going to go look for something that can help solve that need, right? And so then it's kind of indirectly driven by the consumer, right? But it's more of the agent recognizing its own needs and then saying, I need to go do something. And what's interesting about that is that it's, the agent has a different evaluation process than a consumer might, right? It may care more about reliability, it might care more about cost, about features, but it's also interesting that the agent might also be more willing to do smaller transactions, right? It might be willing to, do a 5-cent transaction on a one-off thing, right? And so it's interesting to see different business models that might come out of it in the future as well.
Yeah, another thing that I think about is like how online reselling was like such a good business from like when it began. So like eBay
drop shipping.
Yeah, like eBay, like Depop, like all of these like Etsy, where like people just sort of like list either old items or new items, just like this small business thing. So how do you think that this is going to be like supercharged by agentic commerce, or how do you see like Stripe possibly playing a role in that for small businesses?
I think what's really interesting is that we'll find small businesses being able to identify new places of commerce that they weren't really thinking about before, right?
Okay.
Just like I think in the early days of the internet as a whole, small businesses, did a lot of in-person retail, and then they were like, what's this new channel of the internet, and how do I can actually, actually transact on it? We played a little minor part in that, and we are really excited to keep building economic infrastructure for the internet. And now with AI, it's the same thing, right? Like, what is this new channel? What is this new place? Where am I going to find customers? Can I grow here? Is this a new opportunity? And that's what we've been focused on, a lot with building the kind of economic infrastructure for AI agents now, right? Is like, how can we take this new thing and, small businesses can see still that this is a new channel with new customers, new capabilities, and they can grow and find customers there wherever all over the world, that we help them buy and sell.
What kind of products might Stripe build in the future if we are heading towards a world where agents become like by themselves first class like economic actors like only humans are today?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. So my role at Stripe is on our experimental projects team, where we build a bunch of zero to one, R&D things, and so we test out a lot of different things. And so I can't talk about everything we're testing out, but like to your point, there are a lot of needs that are going to come up with agents being, first class citizens wanting to go buy and sell things of themselves. Whether it's identity, authorization, authentication. People need to be able to verify outputs and outcomes. There's just a lot of practical trust and friction that needs to be removed in order for this economy to grow. And so there are a lot of individual specific things that we're working on and looking at and working with great partners to continue to explore. But for us, it's all about just seeing how we can build the infrastructure that can really power this next economy.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Miles. It was great having you on. We're super
Thanks
excited.
for having me.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
love
yeah.
Stripe. Really, it's one of my favorite companies.
Thank
Yes,
you.
we love
Great
Stripe.
to have you.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank
We'll
you
be
so much.
Right back.
We'll be right back.
staring at the camera.
We're live. We have a very special guest. And it's not a guest at all, but rather a sponsor.
Psych.
Psych, get baited. Neon, scale your startup on Neon, the Postgres backend for apps and agents, built by Databricks. Neon.com/MTS.
We actually just talked about Neon because they are partnering with Stripe on Stripe Directory.
This
So
is
that's
true.
cool. Like if you go on the docs site for Stripe Directory, you will literally see, if you search the Stripe Directory for serverless Postgres database, the top result is Neon. And it comes with the web, the Stripe apps link, Stripe projects, and whether it supports Stripe Link for payments, which is super cool. So shout out Neon.
Shout out Neon.
Shout out Neon and Stripe partnership.
And then our next sponsor that we're shouting out is...
They also do APIs.
Wait, give me one more finger in the frame. Okay, well, yeah, there we go. 11 Labs. AI that communicates at human level across every channel and modality. 11labs.io/MTS.
This one is really hard to make more than one type of pun with. This next one.
Extremely. Maybe we could do we should start freestyling probably. Except I can't think of a rhyme.
I'm curious. You know, I love my etymology. So I was wondering, where does the word come from? And I imagine it has the word grain in it somewhere. Etymology, online etymology dictionary. We're talking, of course, about granola, the AI notepad. Try it
You
once
haven't
and never
caught
go
on by
back.
now.
Granola.ai/MTS. Of course, it comes from, it has the root for grain in it, Italian grano or granular, because it's a granule, it's a little grain. And then the suffix ola was just like a commercial suffix that you see in like pianola, shinola, cola, and so on.
Did we already say this? The AI notepad, by the way.
The AI
Try
notepad.
it once and never go back. Granola.ai/MTS.
We did already say it. Okay, it was invented in Dansville, New York, at the
When?
Jackson Sanitarium. Wow, that's interesting.
Oh, in 18...
I think cornflakes and grape nuts and graham crackers were also invented around the same time for the same reason as like health foods.
I know there's like a deep, dark history of like cereal and Kellogg's and stuff. Have you looked into that rabbit hole?
Yes, I know the rabbit hole.
Anyways, we won't get into that right now. Kong, the AI connectivity platform. Connect APIs, LLMs, agents, and systems with serious security and governance. KongHQ.com.
There's a Kong River. in
This
in,
is just like
Vietnam.
pure
This is true.
nerd riffing.
Just nerd riffing, yeah. We also have Blitzy, autonomous software development for enterprise code bases, shipped 5x faster, blitzy.com. Where does the word blitz come from?
German?
We could just do like etymology. It's German, yeah, lightning.
Yeah, we're just doing an
I didn't know
etymology.
this. It's just the German word for lightning. It's lightning in German is just blitz. Wow, interesting.
Okay, great. What about merge? Okay, let's see, merge word.
I was actually talking with Dean Ball about this over the weekend on Twitter. Because he has this dictionary, this like the Proto-Indo-European etymology dictionary.
Yeah.
Which is so cool. I need to get this book. Merge derives from the
Latin word mergere.
Mergere.
Mergere. I don't know.
To plunge, dip, or immerse, which is rooted in mesgo from Proto-Indo-European, meaning to dip or to wash. So what other words? Oh, emerge, submerge, immerse.
From late Latin, immersionem. That goes hard. Immersionem.
But merge,
Emergere.
with merge, you build once, you connect to every API, tool, and LLM. OpenAI, Dropbox, and Ramp use merge to get AI to production faster.
Yeah. The word quick originates from the Old English word CWIC, quick, which originally meant living or alive. Interesting.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because if something is quickened, it's like, it's moving, right? It's fast, as opposed to being like still.
The meaning over centuries shifted to lively and energetic. And now
Wait,
it can be used to describe ads.
That is
Ad
true.
quick. Make your brand a billboard. Out-of-home advertising as easy to scale as digital. Adquick.com.
Ultimately derived from the ancient Proto-Indo-European word, I don't even know how to pronounce this, life or something, and shares distant cognates with the Latin vivus, alive, and bios, life. Wow.
Yeah, pretty distant.
Very distant. And then, of course, we have, this one actually is just like two different root words connected together. One meaning large or long, and one meaning to look at.
Scope, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
The word is macroscope, by the way.
Macroscope, of course. AI code-based understanding for engineering leaders. Macroscope.com/MTS.
Okay, scope word origins.
Wow.
Spec.
Macroscope is
It traces its roots back to the Proto-Indo-European root spec, meaning to observe. Okay, yeah, like spectate, like, spectacle, and other related words. So I hope you guys enjoyed our etymology lesson for today.
Yep.
We will be right back.
We should have done neon. Where does neon come from?
Where does neon come from? Yeah. Let's make sure that we circle back on that.
Yeah, where does the word neon come from? Ancient Greek word neon, which comes from the word new. Because when the element was discovered, they literally just called it new and then added the suffix on to align it with the names of other noble gases like argon and xenon. So it literally just means new gas, basically, new element.
New gas just dropped.
New gas just dropped. Speaking of gas, we're going to have a gas segment coming right up with Elena Berger of A16Z, so we'll be right back. All right, we're back with
We're back.
friend of the show, Elena Berger from A16Z,
Yep.
to talk about the very tragic early passing of Alan Greenspan at the age of just 100.
I actually don't think that we should try to quip at all during this session. I actually think we should try to keep it pretty somber. Not to
I am half serious. Like I do, I'm transhumanist. I think
Yeah.
that, people dying at the age of 100 will eventually be seen as the tragedy that it is. People should live much longer than this.
Yeah. But given contextually the times in which we're living and the fact that we have not, been able to push the button to achieve jhanas or, merge with the machine quite yet. Or
give it
done
a
any
couple
done
decades.
any of the transhumanist stuff. I think 1926 to 2026, that's a pretty amazing run.
Really, very impressive.
Yeah. Anyway, so I woke up to the news this morning. I woke up at around 5 a.m., looked at my phone. You were already awake, Theo.
That is true, yeah.
And you texted
a group chat.
a group chat that we're in and said Alan Greenspan died. And I saw this, and I have to say, I cannot recall a single death of a public figure that has made me more upset than Alan Greenspan.
Really?
Which is kind of
I guess, yeah.
kind of crazy to reflect on and kind of crazy to admit because, as you were saying at the beginning or sort of dancing around the point that he lived to be 100. Like he was an old guy, lived a very, very full life, born in Washington Heights. Nice Jewish. Yeah. Born in. I read the Sebastian Mallaby biography of him many years ago, like when I was in college, and he really just, he lived a very full life. He went to NYU, Juilliard, and dropped out of Columbia. At Juilliard, he studied clarinet and saxophone. He played either clarinet or saxophone with Stan Getz. I forget which instrument, but he was a musician. He was an artist. He had real soul. And then obviously, befriended Ayn Rand. This was in I think the 1950s that he kind of joined her circle.
The cult of Ayn Rand.
Yeah, exactly. He joined her
circle.
intellectual circle. And he was a champion of, laissez-faire economics. And he was, just I think generally just a really interesting, fully fledged person. And I was interested in economic history. I was interested in just economic history when I was in high school and college. And I think there's something about him and who he was that really struck me.
Yeah. I mean, you just rarely see people like this anymore who are sort of unapologetically pro-capitalism. Pro-free markets.
Very true. Well, I mean, I actually do think we have a lot of people who are unapologetically pro-capitalism nowadays.
Well, in SF.
Yeah.
Among capitalists in the
Yeah,
SF tech
true.
industry.
Yeah, but actually,
in politics is
yeah.
not really that much of a thing anymore.
Yeah. Was he one of
including
the
on the right.
longest? Was he the longest running? He was appointed five times.
He was, yeah. Oh no, he actually was second longest running.
Second longest running after who?
William McChesney Martin, who served from 1951 to 1970, but he only beat him by a couple months.
We don't talk about that guy.
Yeah, I don't know about this guy. He served under Truman, Eisenhower, Kennedy, and Johnson.
Okay.
Greenspan served as Fed chairman for 18 years and 173 days, which is a long time. It's felt, Jerome Powell was only in office for 8 years, and his term felt like forever.
Yeah.
To me, as a youngin, Jerome Powell is the Fed chairman, but to a lot of people, Alan Greenspan is the Fed chairman.
Yeah, and I guess the point with Greenspan is he was quite well loved for pretty much the duration of his entire tenure and then everybody
I think
blamed
he
him.
was-
Everybody blamed him for the financial crash, and everybody blamed
Yeah.
him for the GFC. He lowered interest rates too much. He, basically contributed to this environment where everybody thought it was fine to, buy 5 houses and, do mortgage-backed securities and all of that. But what a guy! What a guy! Anyway, so when I think we're the reason that I'm here. I mean, not just to pay honor to his memory, but also when I was in high school, I wrote a poem in which Allen Greenspan meets Allen Ginsberg. And I think that they have a lot of very interesting parallels. So Allen Ginsberg, also born in 1926, very close by in New Jersey. He also went to Columbia University. I think both of them kind of represent two very interesting poles of deregulation and kind of rejection of too much control, embracing of freedom, all of these things. And I find it very, very interesting, all of the parallels that you find in their lives. Ginsberg had his own set of kind of intellectual people who inspired him. He, was inspired by Kerouac and, and was very, very deep in 1960s counterculture and all, I don't need to recount all of this. He also actually, before we read the poem that I wrote, we should pull up an amazing poem by Allen Ginsberg that most people don't know. It's called The Velocity of Money. And I believe he wrote it the year that Allen Greenspan was appointed Fed chair by Ronald Reagan. Can you pull up the date on this? What year did he write this?
1986.
Oh, okay. So he wrote this poem a year before Allen Greenspan was appointed Fed chair.
Yes.
Should we read? Okay. It's a really great poem. Do you have to? Is this on screen?
No, we can pull it up.
Yeah. Let's put it on screen. So this is not the thing that I wrote. This is a poem that
By Allen Ginsberg.
that Allen Ginsberg wrote
Almost
the year,
about Allen Greenspan. Almost,
basically
kind of.
about Allen Greenspan's appointment to Fed chair in 1987. Okay, this was published in 1986. Wait, I can't really read it.
All right, I'll read it. I'm delighted by the velocity of money as it whistles through the windows of Lower East Side. Delighted by skyscrapers rising, the old grungy apartments falling on 84th Street. Delighted by inflation that drives me out on the street. After all, what good's the family farm? Why eat turkey by thousands every Thanksgiving? Why not have Star Wars? Why have the same old America? George Washington wasn't good enough? Tom Paine, pain in the neck. Whitman, what a jerk. I'm delighted by double-digit interest rates in the capitalist world. I always was a communist, now we'll win. And usury makes the walls thinner, books thicker and dumber. Usury makes my poetry more valuable, my manuscripts worth their weight in useless gold. Now everybody's atheist like me, nothing's sacred. Buy and sell your grandmother, eat up old age homes, peddle babies on the street, pretty boys for sale on Times Square. You can shoot heroin, I can sniff cocaine. Macho men can fight on the Nicaraguan border and get paid with paper. The velocity is what counts as the national debt gets higher, everybody running after the rising dollar. Crowds of joggers down Broadway past City Hall on the way to the Fed. Nobody reads Dostoevsky books, so they'll have to give a passing ear to my fragmented ravings in between president's speeches. Nothing's happening but the collapse of the economy, so I can go back to sleep till the landlord wins his eviction suit in court.
Great poem.
This is like commie slop.
Yeah, well, yes, it is like commie slop, except it was written a year before Allen Greenspan was appointed Fed chair. Okay, so quick. Let's pivot to this poem that I wrote. I can if you want to pull it up, Theo, feel free. Maybe we can have it displayed on the stream.
We are pulled up.
Yeah, but is it? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so the story behind this, like I said, I was reading about
both of these guys, both Greenspan and Ginsburg. I was very, very struck by all of these biographical similarities. They also kind of resonated with me. I think like a lot of us who are living at the intersection of tech and media and all of those things, I think we all feel a little pulled in all of these different directions. You know, are we going to, you know, feed the machine god and, you know, like worship at the altar of capitalism? Or are we going to go to Esalen and, you know, do ecstatic dance and all of those things? I've never done ecstatic dance, but I know people who are into that. So yeah, basically, I think, you know, within you there are two wolves, blah, 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 blah. And these are the two wolves that I feel both best represent me and who I am. Now, the fun story behind this is, I applied to UChicago and I submitted this as my Uncommon app and I got waitlisted. So, it's kind of messed up. But that's fine. All right. So I'm going to read this. It's a little long. I will read it as quickly as I can. On a night in a town where the wind is a-howling, two men prowl the streets, both bitter and scowling. The first man's in finance. Agreed, he's a greed man. He lowers the cash rate and loves Milton Friedman. He worked for big banks, BBH and JP, till he served at the Fed as the nation's trustee. But like Humpty Dumpty, the house market fell. The bubble had burst and Wall Street wasn't well. The lenders had shut down, the stock market stalling. The leftists are saying, you should have backed Stalin. This man has stepped down from the federal bank, lambasted by Congress, a blow to his rank. And even though his checks are all safely cashed, he enters a bar intent to get smashed. The other man walks with far less intent. 'Cause why should you rush when you could write a lament of sin, of greed, of consumerist vices, of snorting up blends of mind-blowing spices? This man thinks his thoughts till his brain is a nub and stumbles on into the nearest pub. When your whole generation's unjustly destroyed, the bar is the best place to fill up that void. He walks in, looks around, takes a seat like an anchor, hankers for talk, so he turns to the banker. I'm Alan, he says. No, wait, I'm Alan too. Alan says, tell me about the work that you do. That I did, Alan the banker corrected. I worked for the Fed, but I have since defected. I'm getting some pretty bad public exposure because people are saying I caused the foreclosures. Wait a second, said Alan. You chaired the whole Fed? No wonder you blundered. Your morals are dead. If your heart rate is tethered to the whims of Dow Jones, your life will be barer than flesh-lacking bones. With my words, I seek to confront and enrich, and with your words, you sought just to make yourself rich. Now hold up, bro, and don't try to shun me. I may screw men, but you effed this whole country. I'll pick up our bar tab, even cover the tip, because you really have nothing, Alan. You stand for zip. Hey, Alan, said Alan, you think you're so great. You deregulate minds, and I do so for rates. I derive doctrine from Atlas Shrugged.
This is like epic rap battles of history.
Sorry?
This is like epic rap battles of history.
I know. I was into that kind of thing in high school. And I do so for rates. I derive doctrine from Atlas Shrugged. You shrug off money, prefer to get drugged. Markets and art, though, you must concede, are at their best when they're completely freed. We're inclined toward disorder. That's physical law, more basic than wanting to be more bourgeois. And with your poems, Alan, you make the same claims, that spirits are stifled when tied in tight reins. I too am a poet, an absolute sage. I directed the Fed and the world was my stage. Consider the facts. I'm really the smartest, because now I'm the world's richest performance artist. But I have to admit my models were flawed, and with that knowledge, I feel like a fraud, which in a way is why I'm right here, alone at the bar and nursing my beer. Then a thought beat through Ginsburg, more wild than rhyme. Why argue with Greenspan when they could combine? Hey, Alan, said Alan, with my words and your clout, we could storm the whole nation and bail you out. We'll teach the whole country not to give a darn care, that lives are well lived when they're most laissez-faire. As my man Whitman would say, this country will only be sane when markets and minds accept the multitudes they contain. You're Jekyll, I'm Hyde, and we can go national. Our exuberance is real, it ain't so irrational. We can't let state rule, we'll step up to the challenge. The world rebalanced by the balls of the Allens. The future is clear, it's really no mystery. We're the best corporate merger in cultural history. Alan stared at the poet like he had found God, took a swig from his drink, and gave Alan a nod. They left the bar arm in arm, surprised it was day. And of course, being them, they both didn't pay.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, very solid.
Thank you.
Like I said, it does remind me a lot of epic rap battles of history.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Especially these last two paragraphs. Like, what was the like prompt for this?
Well,
Like,
I mean, there wasn't a prompt because I wrote it.
I know. I mean,
in
like,
2014,
what was the assignment?
2013. There was no. No. I think I forget what it was. I forget what it was, but it was you know, I was feeling inspired. Feeling inspired. That was the prompt. Yeah. Anyway, it is that time. I had 15 minutes booked. I think this was a lot of fun, Theo.
It was.
And you know, I think we should all think about two lessons. One is we should all appreciate the kinds of people like Alan Greenspan who really are able to kind of move through different kinds of worlds, who clearly live with like a deep degree of like soulfulness and real just like appreciation for all of the valences and things that exist in the world. And then the other thing is I really regret never sending this to him, you know? And I like, you know, reach out, like lesson here, reach out to your heroes. Just
So true,
know,
actually.
Yeah, reach out to your heroes.
When did Allen Ginsberg die?
1997.
97.
Yeah, 1997.
Oh.
Okay.
That's young.
All right. Well, it's been real.
He died of hepatitis? Oh.
Okay. Thank you, Theo. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah.
Rest
It's
in
been
peace,
real.
Alan Greenspan.
Rest in peace, Alan Greenspan. Rest in peace.
Yep. We'll be
All
right
right.
back with Carmen Lee and Sophia Du.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today, I am sitting down with Carmen Lee, the founder and CEO of Silicon Data and Compute Exchange. Very excited to be with you today, Carmen. You are the founder behind Silicon Data, which measures and publishes the price of AI computing power, and Compute Exchange, which is the actual marketplace for buying and selling it. And the timing for today's conversation is pretty wild. I believe last month, CME, who are the ones who run the futures market for oil and gold treasuries, actually partnered with you guys to make the price of AI compute tradable for the very first time. And then suddenly you started seeing within days Wall Street filing ETFs around it. And all of this is happening at the same time that the chips themselves are in a genuine squeeze. And even some of the newest ones are pretty much sold out. So, Carmen, I am incredibly excited to talk to you today and get into your work on how you make AI compute markets transparent, efficient, and financially sophisticated. So, Carmen, welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Great to have you. Great to have you. I think we can start off with some of these current news. Like we just talked about, everything that happened last month with CME. So they just recently partnered with you all to make the price of AI compute tradable. And we started seeing that Wall Street and asset managers were starting to file ETFs around it. So for someone,
yeah, it's just, so sorry to cut you off. Yeah, it's totally unprecedented speed, right? So with CME, we're actually been working with them for a period of time. So the way we look at it is we believe compute will be humans' largest resource, with surpassing all traditional energy combined, so oil, gas, electricity. If you think about this, right? So compute will become the largest input as a resources for anyone, right? You either consume GPU, right? Or you consume token. Either way, you consume something to get to your end product and consumers and services, right? So in the past, right, if you're a SaaS company, you don't really have a cost, right? You have people, and then your margin, which is awesome. However, now going forward, everybody have to consume, as I pointed out, GPU or token, and this can be your largest cost component, right? It can be up to 80% or even 90%. I don't know. Depends on how many people you hire going forward, right? So if 80%, 90% of your cost has 40, 50 daily volatility, right? Then your margin essentially is not controllable. So think about today. If American Airlines tells you, hey, I cannot hedge my oil prices, your ticket price can go from, I don't know, $200 to $5,000 back to 200, right? How can you plan any trips, right? You can as a customer. So similarly, any companies, they heavily rely on GPU or token. They have to have a way to manage their cost structure, so then they can have a healthy, manageable margin, right? From a business point of view, and then to run a business efficiently. And then if you are a new cloud provider, so an inferencing platform, your revenue, ideally you want to hedge that as well. Just like Shell, ExxonMobil, they all hedge their revenue through using fusion options, right? So then they have predictable revenue forecasting. Again, it's better for them as well. So both sides, they want a stability, but no one controls supply and demand curve really, right? If you think about last year, the price for GPU on demand rental per GPU per hour, right, were going down across all chips, right? And back then the conversation, because we start publishing GPU indices early last year, like April last year, right?
Yeah.
The price will come down. Everyone's like, why do we need fusion options? This is gonna always come down, right? We've been telling people, no one knows that. I mean, obviously this year, everything has been going up. And the question is, why do we need to hedge? It's always been going up. No, again, no one knows. The supply demand curve is constantly up and down because, even you can predict the supply because you can say, okay, we know how many data centers are going to be alive. We know how much capacity TSMC will have. But how can you predict demand side? Like, how do you know how much you're going to use next 6 months? You maybe know something, but you can't predict everybody, right, in the whole world, how much they're going to use. So be constant dislocation of supply demand curve. That's why you need hedging, right?
Exactly. You said a 40 to 50% volatility. I'm just thinking, like, if I were a startup or some researcher, maybe with a little bit fewer resources than, a big company, how does that actually work? How do they pay for this? How do they model that out?
They're frustrated, right? Think about if you have one client, right? You're like, okay, I have 30% margin. You get on second client. Now the GPU price turn on you, right? And you have negative margin. So economic skill doesn't help you when you can control your cost. You can have more clients, doesn't translate to you have better margin, right? So your strategy becomes, okay, now, how do I think about reserve contracts? How do I think about on demand? How do I think about hedging, right? And also, if you're new cloud, sometimes you're financing, in term for 3-4 years. But what happened to the 2-3 years after that? You have clients signing up 2-year deal with you, but your financing won't end until year 5. What happened to year 3 to 4 and 5? Like that gap, what's going to happen to your loan payment, right? With your revenue prediction? What if the price turn on you, right? Can you satisfy your loan payment, your interest payment? I don't know, right? So that's why hedging is needed, really, to give everybody stability and transparency.
But make this more concrete for me. What does it actually look like today for one of these smaller startups or researchers? How are they purchasing compute, and what is the big problem that they're facing?
So we're very glad to help the researchers and smaller startups at Compute Exchange, right? Compute Exchange is a platform which, if you are OpenAI, you probably don't need us to help you. You sign the OTC deals with anyone you want to sign, right? Which is awesome. But you're a small company, you can't sign 5-year long contract. You don't know what's going to happen, right? Nor do you have you want to have the obligation. So usually you at on demand cloud, right? At the mercy of the demand supply curve. Or you get a little bit more mature, you say, okay, fine, I will commit to a year, right? So that's when you can do 1 node, 2 nodes. Again, we do smaller nodes, number of nodes, than just do it 200 nodes. We want to make sure we satisfy all different client segments, right? So we can commit to a few nodes for multi-month, multi-year contract through Compute Exchange. At the same time, so that's fine, you get that price locked in. What happens if you are doing really well, which is great? You have all of a sudden you get 2 nodes reserved, you need 4. What happened to the other 2, right? So ideally, the way, in other commodity markets like oil, right? The way you do it is, okay, I know when I want to locked in. So if I short GPU, which is I need GPU today, I don't have GPU, so I'm short, and to long futures, right? If the market turn against me, I will either make money on the futures, offset, I'm losing money because market is more expensive, but I'm making money on the futures, so that offset each other. So at the end, I'm even. Net is I'm zero out, right? If you long GPU, meaning you make money on GPUs, so you lose money. So making the hedges, net to be 0, right? You don't have any net exposures to GPU fluctuation price. That's where you want to be. So I'm not saying everyone should open futures account, right? Think about today. All the financial services firms are set up to help their clients with FX exposures, right? If you even in a tech company today, you have a lot of revenue coming from Europe, for example. You have euros exposure, and all the banks come in and say, hey, let me help you with the FX rate fluctuation. The same banks will help you with your GPU hedging, right? So you don't have to worry about, should I open a CME futures account, right? Everything will flow the same way it is. All the banks will support you, or FCMs, right, with your GPU exposures. But the way you can think of it is, if I'm making money in my GPU world, I probably will losing money on that hedging. So offset the equivalent, right? If I'm losing money on my GPUs, I'm probably made money on the futures, right? The market turn against you, but you already made money this side, so net they're the same.
That's so you can set it out. No, that makes sense. And I'm just thinking about if you're an actual startup and you have to plan out 18 months in advance and try to predict where this market is going, how hard that must be for your company. You can't even think like 18 days. The market changes so much. So trying to plan and having resources to think that far just feels impossible.
The way I would encourage people to do is be flexible, right? Be flexible, number one, with the GPU configuration, right? If you can, don't marry into one particular configuration on geolocation. Be open to US East, US West, anywhere, right? Canada maybe depends on, some arrangements, data security, whatever you have in mind. Be open-minded, different chips, right? Do you have to use B300 or B200 is fine? Or do you have to use B200, maybe H200 is fine, right? The more you're open or flexible with configuration, the more likely you can have different, hedging even against different chips. Because if you look at individual chips volatility, it can be per 100.
It's
right?
crazy,
The 20, 30 number I gave you normalize across different chips. If you open to different chips, your volatility can come down because you can use other, right, as substitute. But you only to one specification, then it's more volatile.
I think that's something that was incredibly surprising to me because you specifically mentioned that GPU to GPU, they're not all the same, right? Like you said something around a 38% performance gap in the same exact chip. Walk me through that. How does that actually affect the market? That makes for a very interesting price differentiation.
Yeah, so in a sense, GPU is a server, it's a machine, right? There's one node can have 8 GPU or 12 GPU and then 1 or 2 CPUs, right? Essentially, you shouldn't even expect, right, or everything running at the same performance level, right? It's not realistic.
Yeah.
So they should have some variance built in. That's fine. And then we decompose the difference between inter-provider, inter-provider, and then chip itself. So right now the market treating all the GPU the same, right? If you H100, you just pay whatever. You don't really care about verification layer because number one, you really don't have the luxury to choose. You're lucky enough to get a location, right? You can't say, hey, I don't think you perform well, I'll give you the money back. It's very hard for the customer, right, to argue against that because you don't even have the luxury to choose. Right. Once we're more equilibrium, right, you would like to. I think what makes sense is if you perform better from unknown performances, from token, from the pure machine level, you should charge a premium.
Yeah.
Right. The residual value at the end of 5 years, right? If you're selling your GPU servers, if you depreciate less, you perform better. Right. You're less thermal. You have experienced less thermal degradation. You would like to think you trade a premium than your peers. Just like Carfax for cars, right? You're a better driver than I am. We buy the same car, same time, but you maybe sell a better price than me, which is everyone said that, right?
Yeah.
Similar to GPUs. So what's the interesting thing is we do verification from the UUID level of every single component on a node and also aggregate to the node level. So we look at every single chips and then we make it very replicatable, meaning it doesn't matter who tests this, the result's going to be within 8% variance.
Wow.
Right?